All right. How do I get that off of there? What's up, guys? What's up, you beautiful, blasphemous bastards? Welcome back to Knock TV. Let's see if anybody wants to talk today. I had some folks chirping in side chats. They're going to have their chance today to come in and talk. You know, it's been a crazy period of time. It's been a crazy year. What's up, Lee Spanner? So Marty, Doubting Thomas. Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody will actually show up. You know, we shall see. What am I doing? I got something I can watch if nobody comes in. But yeah, I had a couple people, you know, wanting me to throw out links when I wasn't set up to throw out links. So I figured, you know, why not have an open room? I haven't done it in a while. You know, I haven't been like too keen on talking to a bunch of liars, people that are just going to lie about their position. You know, it'd be almost refreshing at this point to just get a fascist to come in and say, yeah, we're ready to just take over everything, instead of just pretending. Trying to figure out, like, it's been so long since I've done StreamYard. I'm trying to figure out like my link. There it is. So yeah, if anybody wants to come in, they can. I'm not sure how long I'll do this. Like, I usually go to bed fairly early. I don't work tomorrow, but that doesn't mean I'll stay up super late. So we'll see how this goes. You know, if anybody wants to come in, I just ask that you be respectful. And just be honest about your positions. Be a good faith interlocutor. Don't come in bullshitting. I don't really have the energy for it today. But how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Let's pin that up to the top of the chat. So anybody that wants to come in can come in. I can hold up to 10 people in the room. I think plus an additional 2 in the back, I believe. Yeah, and we just live in this crazy America, and it's gotten crazier and crazier through this entire year. You know, it seems like as our government has come mask off and they've invested all this money in ICE, it seems like they have created quite a shit show for themselves. And, you know, I've always had a personal disliking, even though I wasn't alive for it, of the Andrew Jackson administration. Like, to me, Andrew Jackson was always the worst president ever, worse than even Bush. But I have personal biases there. But I think Trump has done it. I think Trump has taken the cake this time. Like, the first term was kind of just mediocrity laced with a major pandemic. So the mediocrity just kind of became really, 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 really dangerous. And the entire thing proved to be really, 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 really dangerous because this wannabe dictator kind of figured out how he might be able to go about it. And it seems like, you know, they've been so desperate to get away from the Epstein. I don't even really want to call it conspiracy, because I think it's pretty much just fact. You know, I see a lot of right wingers now really trying to do the mental gymnastics to get themselves from the position they've had for the last, I don't know, decade, that, you know, there's this big cabal of pedophiles running the world, and and that's supposed to be exposed in the Epstein files. And I've seen a lot of Republicans who's held that position, really playing the mental gymnastics to say, well, there is no Epstein files. If there ever was, there's been so many Democratic administrations to make sure it's completely corrupted. And I'm like, bro, like the only person we know that has been corrupting the Epstein files is Trump, because there's been reporting on it. I think the Biden administration buried it. I don't think Biden ever read it, but I think people in his administration did, and anybody that covered it up in any administration, anybody that's involved in any administration, should be exposed. I don't think you need to play mental gymnastics there, but they haven't, and I think that alone would have made them like one of the most corrupt governments in United States history. Just the fact that, the massive cover up of world elite pedophiles is a pretty big fucking thing. But then they went and created at least one more major conspiracy to go along with it. A conspiracy I don't think that they're going to get away from. And that's the fact that they tried to stage the murder of one of their most beloved people, as this Tyler Robinson kid did it. Like, just the ineptitude of their FBI. It's like they don't even, at this point, it's kind of hard to like think that the Trump administration isn't complicit with the cover-up conspiracy, that the FBI is just inept. But I think that the FBI is very inept, and I think that at this point the Trump administration has to be complicit in the conspiracy. There's just too much shit going on, and they've created another conspiracy that is going to follow them forever. Not to mention, like, the FBI's bungled the case so very much that Tyler Robinson is going to walk free if he makes it to trial. I'm pretty convinced of that. When is government not force? I don't know what you're talking about. Government shouldn't be force against its citizens. I thought you were a libertarian. So yeah, if nobody's going to come in and talk, I have something a little crazy, wild conspiracy theory. So, they want to pretend like that it's the left peddling in conspiracy theories, and I've been one to show them, but it's all mainly like right wing folks. It's Candace Owens, it's right wing preppers, it's right wing ex-military YouTube, really big right wing accounts. I can't remember the guy's name, but like just one really huge account, and then like even like just really big YouTubers that just kind of slant right, but they do all kinds of crazy shit, like go all over the world, do kinds of crazy shit, like Oompaville, people like that. What's the chick that my daughter watches? I can't remember her name, but this like really huge woman, blonde woman YouTuber that mainly talks like true crime shit, and she's been just covering the fuck out of the Epstein files and all of these conspiracies. And it's like, this shit is gonna follow them and plague them and tear their base apart. It's already starting to pit their base against each other. So I really don't think the fascist agenda that the government has is going to work. And this morning I got like a really positive sign from like people within my own family, people that I've been just so completely disheartened with. One of the like probably biggest Trumper Christian nationalist members of my family and I didn't dare ask what she meant by it. I have my assumptions what she means by it, but she said on her Facebook that I read this morning, I am a U.S. citizen. I believe in the First Amendment. And then she listed the First Amendment of the Constitution. And I think that that's the first time I've ever seen her go against Trump. She didn't come out and say, I'm saying this against Trump, but I don't see any other reason why she would say what she said. And I think that that's an indication that, you know, while I've kind of waffled on the fascist designation, because I see the logic in the argument that we could use other words, right? But then the fact that the fascists want us to stop saying fascist only means that we have to say fascist louder. But just because the fascist government, I think, is going to fail in the end, it doesn't mean all of the MAGA voters are fascist. And that's what I really needed to see from inside my own family today. You know, is that bit of hope. Like my aunt is hardcore MAGA, hardcore Christian nationalist. For her to come out and say that gives me a bit of hope, right? That gives me a bit of hope. But this Tyler Robinson kid, I'm pretty convinced he's not the shooter. If anything, he's a setup patsy. If anything, he was planning on shooting Charlie Kirk, but somebody did it before he could pull the trigger. That's kind of where I'm at on the thing, because I keep watching all these right wingers and their fucking conspiracy theories, but I'm pretty much you have to be on one conspiracy theory or another, because I mean, unless you're just a cult member MAGA, nobody believes what the fuck the FBI is saying. none of what the FBI says about really any of these new shootings. And honestly, if these new shootings keep going on with all of this writing and it's like clearly not what the FBI is saying that it is, I mean, when are we going to start talking like, you know, the Trump administration has just done this really long string of black flag operations, starting with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, all the way till now, so they can implement and have what they think is reason to implement martial law. Like, the longer this shit continues, the more and more conspiracy theories are going to swirl around this fucking insane ass government that we have right now. The most corrupt government in the history of our country. Yeah, no, I haven't really mentioned that, but yeah, we definitely have new reporting of Donald Trump really worried about what's in the files, which, I mean, so all these Trumpers that I was listening to before I started streaming today, they're saying like the files don't exist, and if they did ever existed, they don't exist anymore. Like, no, clearly Donald Trump is fucking afraid of them. Clearly they know what's inside of them. Clearly the FBI has been going through and trying to remove all the incriminating shit that they can, but there's just so much of it that they can't. Clearly they see the writing on the wall that the American public is demanding this. But yeah, he's talking like, you know, times were different back in the 90s, and you know, I'm really afraid that the Democrats did something that's going to make me really bad. No, you know that you're in there and it looks really bad. And you probably understand that people in your administration know that now, which is probably why you surrounded yourself with them, with fellow pedos. That's kind of my guess. It's like his administration is probably chock full of fucking Epstein associates. That would be my guess. It's looking like, I mean, there's pretty solid reporting from several sources now that Epstein was both CIA and Mossad. So yeah, like it really seems like they're in a world of shit, and even like their base isn't, you know, some people's going to go along with them on the fascism train. That seems certain, especially like most of these billionaires seem completely on board with it, which is just another reason when all of this is said and done, we need to make them illegal. Like, they're trying to make transgender folks illegal when transgender folks are just trying to be themselves. And these billionaires, these wealth hoarders, are a detriment to society. A detriment. Billionaires don't need to exist. We need to tax them into non-existence. Clearly, once you hit that billion number, you just go to a whole new level of depravity. I mean, it was pretty bad when you were like a multi-millionaire douchebag, but it seems to be that billionaire fucking plateau really, really produces douchebaggery. So much so that Elon Musk must have thought he was safe enough that he could like throw Trump under the bus. And now it turns out like Elon Musk and his dad are both probably in them bitches. You know what I learned today? I didn't know that Elon Musk's dad was a fucking pedophile, a pedophile that fucking raped his own daughters. A fucking sick bastard. What a fucking sick bastard that is. And Elon must be talking up his dad like he's some kind of great man. Or I should say allegations that have followed Elon Musk's father for decade after decade after decade after decade, with his daughters coming out talking about the rape, you know, just to be safe. And, you know, just so everybody knows, I'm not planning on killing myself anytime soon. If I die mysteriously, blame the government. Well, I'm a strong believer that shouting into the void is very therapeutic. William Freeman. But yeah, good luck trying to convince William Freeman of anything rational. He's basically a domestic terrorist. I kid with you. All right, so the link is up top if anybody wants to come in. Tell me why MAGA is so great. If not, we'll watch something, and then I'll go and play The Sims 4 or maybe some Civ 6 and just enjoy my night. I don't have to get up super early tomorrow. But this is like a new crazy-ass conspiracy theory. And I don't know how crazy it is. Because you remember when Charlie Kirk first got shot and people were slowing down the footage and they were like, they thought that Charlie Kirk was wearing a vest. And the only reason they thought Charlie Kirk was wearing a vest is because it appeared like the bullet like ricocheted or something. It like something just didn't look right. The shirt moved, you know, all weird and shit. Remember that shit when all this shit first came out? When then we found out like he wasn't wearing a vest, so people really stopped talking about that like ricochet, right? That movement, that really weird movement of the shirt right before, you know, Charlie Kirk's throat opens up. Looked like, I don't know, about a half dollar sized hole in his neck just appears. But right before that moment, his shirt does some crazy shit, right? This, I think, is crazy. And again, I'm pretty sure Redacted these are right-wing folks. I know the dude was like a Fox News guy. She was MSNBC, but I'm assuming she was probably like a right-wing person on MSNBC. But who knows? Maybe she's liberal and he's the conservative, and they've somehow managed to work out his derangement or whatever. But I don't know, because I don't really watch this. I just happened along this today, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know. Let's check this out. Come on. Oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong page over there. All right. Let me fix that now, actually. All right. Now I can get to the right page.
Official FBI narrative that Tyler Robinson was a lone gunman, fired a shot that killed Charlie Kirk. New video evidence has emerged from an eyewitness in the crowd off to Charlie's right side. If you're looking at it, it would have been Charlie's right side, but camera left in the audience.
Now, I will warn you, you're not going to see the blood spurt in this video, but there is a portion of this video where you are going to see the hole open up in very slow time. So I do warn you about that. It's probably about halfway through. I can't quite remember where it was, but you will get to that moment
audience at quite a little bit of a distance, but not too far, with a telephoto lens. Finally, some HD footage that we can discuss here on the show, and it reveals something pretty remarkable. So again, we will show it to you and have a discussion about it. We have a lot of new details that emerged over the past 24 hours that we want to go over today. Joining me now is investigative journalist Ryan Mata. He's been all over this story, millions of people watching his coverage of this, and we want to kind of walk through this entire new timeline here.
I don't think that they're connected. Like, the school shooter that happened at the same time as Kirk was definitely a neo-Nazi. There's no denying it. It's why Republicans will never talk about it. But it could be. I mean, it could be an elaborate intelligence op. I'm pretty much at the point that I think it was an intelligence op, but I've been watching too much right-wing conspiracy bullshit, so I don't even trust my own judgment when it comes to this. The only thing I know for certain when it comes to the Charlie Kirk shooting is that the FBI is fucked up. Like, they're just straight fucked up. Like, they're a disgrace to the country.
And discuss what we have here. Ryan, welcome back to the show. Great to see you, my friend.
Always an honor, Clayton. Thanks for having me, and Natalie.
All right, so let's start off. Maybe we can kind of contextualize some of the official story here and where this is sort of falling apart. I mean, we can literally just go like right to the roof, right? And the running on the rooftops.
Yeah, absolutely, Clayton. So the video you guys are watching here is of the FBI video. Now, this comes directly from the FBI's official YouTube channel, so we know it's legit. It was given to us by the FBI. And if you notice the timestamp there in the top left, when that timestamp started, when the video actually first started there, it was at 12:23.34. So it takes him roughly approximately 14 to 16 seconds to get exactly into that position, which will be 12:23.50. Now, when we started to analyze this footage, it was Blake Bednarz who just first broke this footage, and he sent me this video, and he goes, "Listen, look at, man." He goes, "From this CCTV video, from where the FBI is showing us here, you could..."
Again, I want to reiterate, I don't know these people's ideologies, because this is basically an issue that has no ideology at this point. Like, certain Republicans and the administration is trying to make this like a left-wing ideology thing with the Charlie Kirk shooting. It's not. And even the people that are dissecting it is a very bipartisan issue. Most of the people coming out with these conspiracy theories. Now, I will say, like, I think it was the left that immediately recognized like the Groyper connection. But outside of that, it's mainly been right wingers coming out with these conspiracies. And I'm not even sure, like, I don't even think I'm landing on Israel anymore. Although, like, this story, if true, will definitely, like, make you think Israel. But I'm starting to think just with the new current shooting, the two assassination attempts on Donald Trump, like, I think that these are psyops, and they're just really bad psyops. And it's becoming kind of apparent at this point, which means, like, what the fuck has the CIA been doing? And again, I don't plan on killing myself.
Actually see the sniper's prone position. So when they first zoomed out on that footage from when it very first started, you could actually see the position where Tyler would have, quote unquote, been laying on that roof. And it was Blake who sent me the footage originally. And he goes, "Hey, man," he goes, "check this out in the cafeteria view." So if you switch to the cafeteria view, you can actually see the man running across the roof, right? Really slow motion. You clearly see somebody moving across that roof. Okay, now the question is, when was he running? Now, there's another video I sent your team, and it's actually, you're going to start to see the crowd here. You're going to see the crowd, and the crowd's going to start to crouch down, okay? So if we put that into this slow motion feed that I sent you, and we scrub back and forth, you're going to see the crowd go up and down, up and down, up and down, right there. See how it goes? So you can see the crowd actually getting ready to sit down, and you move it back.
And he's already running. And he's already running if you look at the rooftop.
Bingo, right? So then we went out to the...
Yeah, and that's really weird. That's really weird that he's already running. And that's why, like, I'm saying, like, I'm starting to think, like, maybe he was planning on doing it. Maybe he had talked about it online, right? And maybe an intelligence agency picked that shit up and ran with it. Because the fact that he's running right after the shot doesn't make any fucking sense at all. It doesn't make any that's not a human reaction. Not if you pulled the trigger. The only reason you would be running is that you had him in your scope and somebody else took the shot. And you were up and gone. And not even that. He probably whether it was a scope on a gun, I don't even think it was a scope on a gun. Probably had some binoculars. Probably found himself a way up to a secluded ass spot. I don't know. The reason we don't know is because the FBI ain't releasing shit. They ain't releasing shit except for the little nitpick bullshit that they released to fit their narrative. But it doesn't make any sense for Tyler Robinson, if that is indeed Tyler Robinson, to be running, 2-3 seconds after the shot is fired. That makes no sense. If you're the shooter, you're at least going to wait a second to make sure the shot hits.
Outside footage. And I said, okay, I'm going to put this in my computer
and really, like, if you're the shooter, you're going to stay in that scope for just a minute to try to get a layout of the reaction. Maybe catch an up close look at your escape route if you can. Like, there's no way you're running across that, in my opinion, if you're the shooter. It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to press play at the 8-second mark of this random clip I had on my computer. And when you press play and you hear bang, as soon as
Robin, that's another thing of the discrepancy. So did he confess, or did he confess to being the person in the pictures? Right? We don't know, because even the text messages that they released between him and Lance Briggs was cut up. We don't even know if those are real text messages. Usually in these situations, you would be getting the complete text chain. If the FBI was giving you anything at all. But one thing we would definitely be seeing in all of these situations is media at the parents' house. They wouldn't have left. They'd still be there. We'd be seeing the parents on the news telling us directly. Silence. And where in the fuck is Lance Briggs at? Where in the fuck is the roommate? What in the fuck did they do with the roommate? Why is there complete media silence around this? None of it is normal. None of it makes sense.
you press play, and then I go, okay, I'm going to stop the video immediately when the crowd actually is fully set down, and it's 3 seconds, Clayton. So that tells you that from when that shot was fired, whoever was on that roof was in a full sprint within 3 seconds of Charlie.
No, you might not have been here, Gary. I've watched too many right-wing conspiracy theories. Yeah, the only thing that I know is that what the FBI is feeding us is bullshit.
Charlie Kirk being shot. That man on the roof was sprinting literally before the people that were outside could even realize that Charlie's been hit. I mean, he got shot right in front of them, and it takes them 2 or 3 seconds to go, oh crap, he's been hit. And they all start to go, all duck down at the same time. And that's how we know exactly when that person was.
Like, what really I can't understand, and this is no disrespect to anybody. I don't understand how liberals are so trusting of this FBI. I don't understand it at all. This FBI is inept. I don't trust anything coming from the FBI. I don't trust anything coming from the Trump administration at all. They came out with good GDP numbers. I don't trust it at all. My eyes tell me different. I don't trust anything from this administration, and I don't see why liberals do. I really don't. And I'm not saying anything about anybody. I don't know anybody's ideology, but that's something that I've observed is like liberals. Like I was watching Hutch earlier, and he's like, hasn't even paid attention into this shit, and dude is like trying to say like all these conspiracy theories are stupid. Like, no, I don't think they're stupid at all, and to trust this FBI is fucking ridiculous. I don't know what happened, and the reason why we don't know what happened is because the FBI is being very sus.
Was running across the roof. So that was kind of like the first thing we kind of just started to discuss when I was talking to you earlier was like,
can I just stop you there? Because this tracks
absolutely.
With other independent reporting from Candace Owens. She tracked down the person who had filmed prior to the event saying, look, there's weird. That's a guy on the roof. That's strange. The person that they said they saw was in tactical gear with a different gun That's what they told Candace Owens. And then the FBI says this guy was in plain clothes. So it would track that there's a discrepancy between that. And then one other thing that's always bothered me about that official FBI running across the roof is that if people duck immediately after and scream, we've heard the screams in the crowd, why are the people walking behind that building walking so casually? They would presumably have heard a scream and commotion just around that corner. So what do you think of those two bits?
Yeah, I'll start with the screams. You're talking about when the FBI shows us that video, there's just somebody just moseying through the parking lot.
Yes.
Like nothing ever happened right here.
Behind the tree. So look at the trees on your right.
I mean, we are getting more and more information, and a lot of the conspiracy theories have been debunked. Like, you know, like the people giving signals we know is like it was Frank Turek, the guy in the white shirt giving signals, and I think the dude next to him in the black shirt, it was like one of his people. The most convincing thing that I've seen so far. This I don't know what this is, some crazy out there shit that I really think they're stretching, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility, and he's going to make a good case for it. What I've seen so far, where I'm leaning, I think he was shot from behind. That's where I'm leaning from, just all the shit that I've seen. But again, I know nothing. The only thing that I know is I don't trust the FBI. This FBI more than any other FBI. Like, and we should be able to trust the FBI, right? Like, it should be the CIA. You automatically just like, yeah, fuck those guys, right? Like, you just don't know what they're doing. But like, the FBI should be somewhat trustworthy unless you're like a sovereign citizen. We just don't live in that world anymore. We don't live in that world anymore. We live in the world where the earth is flat. The sun is dark. We live in a different world than we lived in a year ago.
Even to the left, if you notice in the left of that shot, right at the very beginning of that shot, there's just someone casually walking through the parking lot at the far left of the screen. You can see him, just kind of walking along.
Yeah,
you can see the shadow.
And the people under this major, that looks like a big oak or something, or actually maybe deciduous. But anyway, they're not running, even though around the corner in the quad, people are screaming and running. They should have by this time got the notice and started running and panicking too.
Yeah, so that was 16 seconds, 18 seconds roughly after, or maybe 21 seconds after the shot was fired, that he's actually probably hitting the ground right there. The best explanation I can say for why aren't people, a lot of people go, how many kids are at campus with their headphones in? And they're just, you leave campus, you put your headphones in, and you're just going about completely oblivious to everything that's going on around you.
I'll give you that. Sure.
And pretty far from the quad, to be honest.
Very far. It's at least 145, 150 yards. So, and with the how that campus was set up and how it's so layered and how the sound could have maybe been, trapped in there. But if that guy was on the roof and fired that shot, you're talking about the firing, the bullet and the gun going off maybe 20 yards from you. I don't know, even with headphones, we heard how loud that sounded up close to Charlie. I don't know if the people in that parking lot, if somebody was on that roof and fired that shot and you're walking through that parking lot 10 seconds later, I don't know if you would not have been like,
what the heck?
Now, the other video that Natalie was referencing, we showed it here on the show, I think the day after Charlie was shot, or roughly right in that same. We showed the video of those individuals, two individuals.
And I hear you. I'm wearing my earbuds. I love my earbuds.
Pointing to the rooftop and noticing an individual there. That's a different roof line. And according to Candace's reporting, someone wearing tactical gear and a mask. And they actually witnessed a gunshot from that separate location. So again, this official FBI.
This person continues to tell Candace Owens that that was not the same gun, that it was someone who knew guns and recognized that was a different gun, and that the person they saw was not in plain clothes, but tactical gear.
Okay, so the first thing I want to point out is where those people were in position. They were kind of parallel to the Sparks building. And I was talking to this with Stephen Gardner, and he went back to the scene, and me and him had kind of been sharing info and going back and forth. And he goes, man, these people are telling that Candace that they seen this man in tactical gear.
All right. And yeah, I kind of got off of the Israel thing because Candace Owens got on it. I'm like, I don't want to be part of no anti-Semitic fucking conspiracy theory. I still think it's possible. Like if this turns out like to have any merit at all, which I think that this is far-fetched to what we're watching, but he's going to make a good case for it. I think, you know, Israel would be your like prime suspect in that scenario, but I don't know. I don't even know. Like it could be Tyler Robinson and there was just another shooter. I don't know. But all I know is that the FBI ain't telling us right. They ain't telling us right. They're trying to fit the narrative that the president wants them to fit. And unfortunately for them, they've done fucked up this shit so bad. Like Tyler Robinson's walking if he makes it to trial. That's one. Again, also, I want to remind people that there is a warning with this. We are getting close to the part where you will see a hole open up in Charlie Kirk's neck. You will not see the blood. It will stop. It is that moment that they are focusing on, the moment of impact. So I want to warn you that you will be seeing that.
From that position where they were filming is about 535 feet from that roof. So then I think, okay, half a football field, roughly. A football field's what, like 900 feet? So at the 450 foot mark, they'd be a little bit farther than that. When you're in the end zone of a football field, can you look down and tell if somebody's wearing a mask or not and in tactical gear? I do think you can pretty distinctively make out a uniform and the fact that a football player has a helmet on. So if this person does have a mask on, I would say that Candace's reporting is pretty much holding up. And the most important part about that reporting is the time. So Candace got the actual timestamp. So in that video, when it starts playing, they're going, hey, we just watched this. Is he already in position? We just watched him run across the roof. She said that timestamp on that video is 12:22. So that would have been 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes tops before the shot was fired. So somehow this kid is running across the roof, lays down, gets in position, somehow controls his heartbeat, controls his breathing. I'm no expert sniper. I'm not even a gun guy, but I hear if you're 1 centimeter off with that scope, if that X is 1 centimeter off, you're missing your target. So somehow this guy is in a full sprint, runs across the roof. It's about 30 to 45 yard sprint to get into that position from where we would have jumped on the railing, lays down, gets in position, takes that shot. And the craziest part is within 3 seconds, somehow magically has that rifle in his hand and wrapped in some type of towel. So he would have had to stand up if it was quote unquote a towel and not a gun bag. He would have somehow had to get that in that gun bag and then get into a full sprint. But this brings us back to my main point is that we don't have that CCTV footage. If the FBI is the most transparent FBI in all of the Trump administration or the American history, then why would they release a video 3 seconds after the shot was fired? If you could just give us maybe 2 more minutes, you would actually show him getting onto the roof and running across the roof, getting down in position, taking that shot.
See, and that's the point like that I am on is, you know, like, so the president and the FBI are making a lot of allegations about the president's opponents' political ideologies, right? You need to be able to make that case. There is no scientific data on your side to make that case. So you need to make that case with the evidence. Like if you're going to release text messages, release the text message chain, right? Don't release some transcript that you wrote out of text messages you've seen that makes no fucking sense. You know, explain to us how the shooter did what he did in such a short amount of time. Now, I understand you've got to prove a case. But until the FBI can give us a working theory on this murder, it's going to be their own people. The base of QAnon, you know, the conspiracy base that is going to spit out this shit. And again, they have created another situation for themselves that is just this clusterfuck quagmire of a scandal of their own making. The president didn't have to come out with a radical left transgender ideology narrative, especially when it's Charlie Kirk, one of their own. The FBI didn't have to try to meet that standard that the president made, but they chose to. And none of the shit adds up. The gun doesn't add up. The timing doesn't add up. He had a very short amount of time to get across that roof, to get down, settle, make that shot, get back, somehow assemble the fucking gun in the whole process. None of it makes any fucking sense. Not to mention that if you look at any ballistics with the 30-06, Charlie Kirk's head should have fucking came off or exploded. You know, like the hole in the front of his neck does not look like an entry wound. It looks like an exit wound. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. Why does the messaging on the bullets point at the Groypers if he's a far left wing guy? You know, why doesn't the media report that the bullets isn't what they're reporting it is, that it is indeed like memeology, and it's a memeology that the Groypers, who are farther right than Charlie Kirk, is known to use? Why haven't we seen a single interview with any of the friends outside of distant friends that have kind of various depictions on the shooter? Why haven't we had any interviews with family members outside of an initial interview with the grandmother and then a follow-up where she kind of backtracks everything and then silence? Nothing makes sense. What's up, Puff?
What's up? All right.
I was hoping like a couple Trumpers were going to come in and talk to me today, but they're no shows, of course.
Come on, man. They already doing. They're fully occupied with damage control, dude. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in the side chat asking for links. I told them to be here today. Nope, not happening. So yeah, I'm just kind of probably watch this and not stream too long. But I know we haven't gotten to the interesting part. Where are you at on the shooting?
My thing is, it definitely, the things are suspicious in terms of like breaking the gun down and stuff, but like 30 to 45 yards is not a big distance for an in shape 22-year-old. And this guy was tall, right?
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah. So if he's tall, he's probably, when he's running, he's probably got a 6-foot stride, if not better. Right. So that's 2 yards at a time. It ain't going to take a couple seconds for him to cover that distance. And then he's not going to be winded because he's 22 fucking years old. And then what do they practice in these games all the time? How do they take the shot, man? They run up and they fucking just they just plop down to the fucking prone position, just straight down. Boom. So if he's fucking got the game shit going in his head, and you know as well as I do, when you're young and you just got something in your head, you're going to do it. You can do stuff that seems physically impossible when you're 30, 35 years old.
Well, yeah, and definitely adrenaline would play a factor, especially once you're on top of the roof and it's really starting to pump. I don't know.
But you've done crime, right? You've done crime. I've done crime with people. Not everybody responds the same to adrenaline. There are some people that when they start getting adrenaline, they start sharpening their focus. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, and he'd probably run a lot faster than usual. Wind probably wouldn't be a factor until the adrenaline's gone anyway. Yeah. No, I can see that. The problem is, you know, the assembling of the gun, the disassembling of the gun, and the ballistics of what a 30-06 bullet will do.
My thing is this: if they do, okay, we'll take him on the assembling of the gun and disassembling the gun. He assembled the gun on the roof to take the shot, right? Then he went to the woods. Then he supposedly disassembled the gun again, went to the woods and reassembled it, right? But he left a screwdriver on the roof.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That part doesn't make sense. And the
FBI might have changed the story.
Shot came in, like the way, if you like, it does look like the shot came in at his hairline in the back of his neck area and came out the front. But and the thing is, though, like, if it did go in the front, though, the thing is, it would be, you wouldn't see blood spurt out like that. You know what I mean? You would just, a lot of times with especially a high powered round or a high speed round, high velocity round, you won't have stuff going out. There's just so much force going through, it carries everything through with it. But 30-06, I'm sorry, you know, and there's a guy, his YouTube video is blown up, but he did it 6 years ago where he did 30-06 on a ballistic gel dummy, and the head was in pieces.
Yeah, and I've
You know what
watched
I mean? So
several.
like,
I've watched several ballistics on it now, and that's pretty much what you get. I seen a guy shoot 30-06 with a solid ass fucking elk bone, and it just that elk bone shattered into a million fucking pieces. Like,
but here's the thing.
I seen him
Here's the
shoot it
problem I have
into
with
like a
those.
ceramic breastplate, and that ceramic shattered into a million fucking pieces. You know,
And I could see that, but like the thing I have problem with the bone thing is that like maybe with the ballistic dummies because those are specifically supposed to be calculated. But then again, you never know where they got the dummy from. If they got a cheap one, it may not be a one-to-one facsimile of a human body in terms of how it reacts and everything like that. That may not be a possibility.
I watched different ranges on them. Yeah, I've seen the bad ones and the good ones. But like the elk bone, the thing about the elk bone is it's denser than human bone, and supposedly,
but
Charlie
if it's
Kirk's
not
bone
fresh,
stopped the
though,
bullet.
But fresh bone is a lot more pliable and supple than bone that has aged or dried. That's another thing you have to take into consideration. There's a lot of variables, and these people have not done. These people have not done. They haven't. What the heck is going on? Yeah. Saw that. Cool. But they haven't done a extensive, exhaustive process to eliminate the variables, right? And until that's done, and the thing is, a lot of these people are going off of pictures, but I haven't seen one person yet that has how do I want to say it? They haven't done where they do like a 3D rendering of the quad.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Like I seen one, but it was like right after it came out, and it wasn't a very good one. And I think they're well. The issue is, all right. So, why did Turning Point USA immediately start tampering with the crime scene? Why did they take out the video S cards? They were moving stuff on the crime scene. What happened? We had cameras. There was a camera that was in front of Charlie Kirk that if we had that footage, we'd know what happened. There's a camera that was behind Charlie Kirk to where if we had that footage, we'd know if there was an exit wound on the back of the neck or if there was an entry wound on the back of the neck. We don't have any of this information. Now they're saying the FBI now has that information, but why are they tampering with the crime scene? Right? None of it makes sense.
Bro.
And again, like if you do look at it slowed down, it looks like he was shot in the back of his head.
If this was a crime of any less severity than an assassination, right? They've done enough stuff that legitimately anything but murder, the person would get off on. They couldn't take him to court because they've tainted the entire jury pool.
Oh yeah, and that's been my big point too. Is like I don't think that they're gonna let him make it to trial. So there's new reporting out. So the FBI has come out and said that they haven't moved Tyler Robinson or that he's still in like their special housing unit, which implies that they haven't moved him. But there's reporting from inside the jailhouse that they have moved him. He is no longer on suicide watch. They have put him in the SHU, right? So like he's got a blanket.
Well, as well as I do. Come on, you were in prison, dude. You know for a fact they don't even tell the inmate when they're getting moved. They come knock on your door at 2 a.m. Yeah. Hey, come on, get your shit and let's go. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. It's like this kid, right, has already been moved to the SHU. So he's already at risk of assassination, of committing self-harm to himself, right? Like it's I don't think they want him to make it to trial because
the thing is
because they know he's gonna walk. Like even if he is the shooter, they fucked it up so bad he's gonna walk.
No, there's the thing is the severity of this crime and everything like that, they're going to get their conviction if he goes to trial. But the thing is, like the person that shot up the ice place, right? It is much easier to mold the narrative of the motives of the killer if they're not alive. That's it. If the dude wasn't alive, if he wasn't alive, they could go in. They could have gone in and scrubbed his fucking whole social media before they released his name, and we wouldn't know nothing. We would think they would be like, look, here's this fabric, and unknown to us, fabricated. Here's this full-on libtard right here, right? You know, he was at the Bernie Sanders rally and this and that and the other. You know what I mean? Like if they swap the shit out before the internet gets a bone to sniff up, then there's nothing. You know, it's going to be much harder to catch them. But the thing is,
it appears
right now,
like they
I don't
kind of
think
did
that they
that
could.
though.
Well, they kind of
You know, like-
tried, but the thing is,
We haven't been able
we
to,
have a
like, nobody really
FBI
recovered
full
many
of-
of his socials.
But here's the thing, dude. We have a FBI right now that is literally be run by the deaf, dumb, and blind, man.
Oh yeah,
It's
I know,
fucking
and that's why,
ridiculous. Like you heard the joke, right? You heard the joke that it was.
I don't think
Bondi
the
and,
FBI did it. I think the FBI is ineptly covering it up. If it was like, yeah, I think it was probably intelligence, and it would either be. So Israel would be the best in the world at it, but I would definitely wouldn't put it past the CIA.
Well, you know, there's that joke that it was Pam Bondi and Cash Patel's love child, but there's no way that kid could have hit that shot. He would have been watching security and the target at the same time.
Which, you know, and the shot itself isn't really a hard shot. I couldn't make the shot, you know, but like an experienced gunman can make that shot.
I'm pretty sure
if it's from
Utah,
there.
if you live in Utah and you go hunting elk and shit like that, or bighorn sheep, you can make that shot, bro. No problem. Because the thing is, if you're hunting bighorn sheep, most of those are well over 200-yard shots. You know what I mean? At least 200 yards to make a shot on a bighorn sheep, dude.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Puff. Tyler Robinson didn't have a manifesto.
He had a one-page letter thing that said he had an opportunity to take out Charlie. Yeah, he said he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and that he was going to do it, and that some hate just can't be negotiated out.
And you know,
Which
Joe,
is
you come in and
the most movie-ass line I've ever heard. Like,
well, and that's another thing that doesn't make any sense because the FBI has seemed to have lost that note.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, and here's the thing though, is they dropped that quote unquote text message train back and forth between the two of them, right? They've dropped that into multiple fucking AI bots, right? And they're like, hey, can you compare this to known real text message conversations or known text conversations between people of this age? Can you look these up and tell us, you know, is this legit, right? And every single time it comes back, this is almost certainly fabricated. They're like, they point to lines like, sorry, my love, and I hope to keep this secret until I died of old age, as lines out of a movie.
That's another
thing.
And
also, the conversation was written like a script. And who do we know? Wait a second. It was written like a script, right? Who do we know that sent somebody a birthday card with a message written as a script?
True. But so
I'm just saying,
the language
you know,
thing, I was on that
you can,
too myself. You know? There is a tape out, and I watched the tape of Tyler Robinson talking to a cop like a couple years before the shooting, like a couple years ago. And he did kind of talk weird like that. So it kind of, he, you know, of course he didn't say my love to the cop or whatever.
Did you see Klippenstein's interview?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Where he talked to people that knew him, and they're totally
So
contradicting
the kid
story.
This kid is a meme kid. He's probably got a little bit of left and a whole lot of right in him. You know, raised in gun
I think
culture.
He's just 22 years old, bro, and he doesn't know what he's got going on.
He's like a Reddit kid, you know. Yeah, he's mainly apolitical, but it just doesn't make sense that. So he supposedly leaves a note to his roommate. Jill will say his transgender lover. I don't even think we know that. What happened to the roommate? Nobody knows. FBI disappeared this person. Like, what happened to this person? Nobody fucking knows. Supposedly, according to Governor Cox, this person wasn't under suspicion, was fully cooperating with the FBI.
Oh no, but
had nothing to do with the shooting.
Here's the thing, though, Knock. If they're cooperating with the FBI would be ensuring their safety right now. So there's not going to be, you're not going to be able to find out where they're at or anything like that. And that's for their safety. I mean, honestly, with no suspicion cast or anything, if this was
that doesn't make any sense. They're not in witness protection.
No, they do put them in a form of that kind of like they put them in protective custody, not like jail or whatever, but they put them up in a place and they put, they give
But
them
that's not
a
what
guard.
the FBI is saying. The FBI, as far as I
Right?
know,
They're
the
not going to
FBI
say
is
that,
saying that.
dude. They're supposed to act stupid.
So do you trust them?
No, I don't trust them. But what I'm saying is, in that type of situation, that's what they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to act stupid because.
So where are the friends of this Lance Briggs? Why isn't anybody confirming anything that the FBI is saying about any of these two people?
Well, that's the thing is, I'm not saying that their story about the people is correct, but what I'm saying is that if that person does exist, there's good reason that we probably, and Occam's razor very
Or
easily
there could be
understood
very
reason.
bad reasons too. Like they could have
Yeah,
disappeared.
there
this
could
fucking
be,
person.
but
They could be in a
but
fucking.
it's Occam,
They could be
but
in a
Occam's
prison camp in
razor,
El
dude.
Salvador for all we fucking know.
No, I take the Occam's razor approach that they're just being held, they're just being given a safe, like secure place to be, and they're not held at gunpoint. But not what I'm saying, but like basically they're held up in a fucking hotel room or something somewhere, or a fucking Airbnb house they rented or something. No one fucking Trump's administration, they rented a fucking Airbnb, but and one of his, by the way, probably, but and they just got them into security or whatever, and also telling them, hey, keep your fucking mouth shut, don't go online because you're gonna get they're gonna come after you. You know what I mean? And the thing is, maybe he is
I
what
don't
they say,
trust it.
maybe he isn't, but I don't think on the ground running less than 2 weeks out, we're gonna find out, that much. Now, we are finding out a lot about the case that should not be released during an investigation, but what we got to do is kind of bait them into giving us stuff. You know what I mean? I think that's what we're going to have to do is bait them into giving us stuff as opposed to, just doing this or that or the other. But the good thing about people making all these wild conspiracy theories is Kash Patel doesn't know how to counter a conspiracy theory because he's a conspiracy theorist. So his only thing is, oh, we got to misdirect more. You know what I mean? That's how he's going to handle it. He's not a fucking smart cookie, dude. I mean, you see him at every interview he does in front of Congress or the Senate. I'm sorry, where he's like fucking. He looks like he's amazed that he still has his fucking job. Like he looks bewildered. That's the way he looks every time he shows up somewhere. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe these fucking people. I can't believe they're letting me do this shit.
Officially, when the narrative first came out, they said that Tyler Robinson confessed, right? He confessed to his father. I don't think that's true. I think he confessed to his father that it was him in the pictures. Why is he not cooperating with the police? Why is he now saying that he's not the shooter?
Well, if you read that text message train, the first person he had to have confessed to was his roommate, right? And his roommate ended up turning him in hours later because he turned in the text messages. But he said in the text message chain that his dad was, and this is all them trying to include this stuff to make it tie in, you know what I mean? To make it sound legit, that his dad was texting him trying to find out, hey, where's that gun at? Because they saw pictures of the gun on the news, right? And so they were like, hey, where's the gun? But this is all convenient because they don't have like a timeline with that as far as I've seen on there. It was just the text message train back and forth.
All right, so that doesn't make any sense to me. So the picture that we saw of the gun, it looks like any 30-06, right? They say that this gun is somehow unique. They never said how. It looks like any 30-06 that I've ever seen.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think it's like
there's no way that you can look at a 30-06 and say that's Grandpa's gun and know for certain. I just don't believe that. I think that's nonsense.
The thing. No. Here's the thing. I think it's like a 92 Honda Civic. There's a million of them motherfuckers, right? But when they say, oh, it's a unique Honda Civic, the people that know that Honda Civic can pick it out of a crowd.
I don't believe that at all. I think these guns are made by stock. Right, these guns are made in a factory.
But the thing is, though,
they are all the fucking same.
But that gun's lived a life. That gun's lived a life since World War II, I think.
Maybe if you saw it in person,
so
but there's no way you see that gun in that picture, and you're like, you know what? That's Grandpa's gun, son.
I don't know. Sometimes
I don't believe it. That's shit, unbelievable.
I don't know. I've been on the other side of the table while they were talking and asking some very tough questions, and I've had them pop up not that great of pictures that made my stomach sink, bro. They were not like super clear pictures. They were grainy, not very good. I don't even think they would hold up in court, but they made my stomach drop. So when you see what you
Well,
see,
we're
you know
not
what
talking
you
about court
know.
though. We're talking about people watching a TV story on the news,
Right, that's what I'm saying. This is just
seeing
me in
a
a
gun
fucking
and saying, "Oh, that's
just sitting in an
Grandpa's gun."
just
Come
in
the
an
fuck
interview
on.
room, and they're like, "Hey, what's this pic? You know, you recognize this?" And hold up a picture and make your stomach drop. And it's not a great picture. You could be like, "I don't recognize that," right? There's not a lot of identifying details, but when you know, man. And that's what I'm saying is that if that's their family gun, right, and especially Grandpa seen that motherfucker, and it's his gun, then come on, dude. You would know your specific shit, dude. That's the thing, is that that's where this whole thing was supposed to be. Why his grandpa was,
No,
why his
I think
dad
it was a
was texting him, was
combination.
because
I
grandpa
think
was
it was a
asking,
combination of
"Where's
the
the
gun
guns
and the
at?"
pictures of Tyler. That's what I think. And I think that it was mainly the pictures of Tyler that looks like our son. That gun does resemble a family gun that we own. Um, I think that Tyler probably confessed that it was him in the pictures. He probably told his dad that he didn't shoot Charlie Kirk, and that everybody thinks he did, and if he doesn't want to be arrested, he'd just rather kill himself. That's what I think fucking happened, right? Like I think.
So what did you tell dad? I
And
hid
by
it in the
now,
woods
we
'cause I
should
was
have
scared. I
heard
brought it
from
to
the
school with me.
parents. By now, we should have heard from the parents about what happened. In a normal situation, like the FBI isn't gonna in any normal situation, even a fucking political assassination, they didn't go and sequester Martin Luther King's family away.
No,
They
but they
gave
don't have to in this
interviews.
case. They don't have to do that in this case. They don't have to.
Well,
They
what
don't
I'm
have
saying,
to.
but we're not.
All that
Where
has
is
to
the
happen.
media surrounding these people's homes? Right, I remember
Okay,
Columbine.
but what I'm
Like
saying,
those
that's
shooters'
what I'm saying. This
parents
dude was a
had
Trumper,
fucking
right?
media with them everywhere they went. We have
But
none of that.
but the dude's
Where
dad
are
was a
these
Trumper,
parents?
right?
Why are they hanging their son out to dry? And why aren't they backing up the story? If he confessed to the murder of Charlie Kirk, why aren't they saying that?
Well, the thing is, here's the thing. If this is the way I look at it,
They
right?
already have, Robin.
If the parents, right, were like, all they had to do was say, Trump is asking you to keep quiet and don't talk to nobody about nothing, right? They'll do it, because it's just like, oh, they say, oh, they were saying before, oh, there's nothing that Theo Vaughn won't say. Well, guess what? When the Trump administration asked him to shut the fuck up about COVID and stop asking about it, that motherfucker shut up about it. So did Rogan. So for some reason, in this cult of personality, when the dear leader says, "Hey, I want you to do this," they fucking do it, whether it's going to impact them negatively, makes them look like a chump, goes completely against the grain of what they've done previously up until that point. They don't care. They're willing to commit philosophical suicide for this dude at a moment's notice.
So what? So you think the parents would what?
I think the parents, if Trump asked them, "Hey, I need you to shut up, don't talk to nobody," because they're trying to form their narrative, craft their narrative. I need you to shut up and don't do no interviews, don't talk to nobody, don't do none of that, and just be quiet. We got your back, right? Then they will do that, because the parents are huge Trumpers. He was just having the same conversation supposedly with his roommate days before that. He was supposed to be having
still see the reporters surrounding their house.
That he lost his dad.
You'd still see the supporters. I don't get this. None of this shit adds up.
He's already whipped the motherfuckers in the line, bro. What are you talking about?
Who? Like Trump? Trump is dying.
15 million from one.
Trump is like on his fucking deathbed. He's not whipping nobody in the line.
No, what I'm saying though is he's got him by the balls. I don't understand why, because they're way more powerful than he is. If they just stood up and did something, they'd be fine. But they want to make more money, so because they have deals on the line and everything like that.
But your argument would apply more. No, see, I don't think so. I think your argument applies more to the FBI than to the parents. Your argument would apply to the FBI, who would know that they would have to follow their dictator's direction. They would have to appease their dictator, or they're going to lose their fucking job. It's that fucking simple. Trump came out with the narrative. They had to match the narrative.
Yeah, that's what you don't understand about authoritarian fascism, bro. Authoritarian fascism, the people in close do what they do out of fear, right? But the people that are far away, the adoring masses, do what they do out of adoration, out of love.
I
And
don't
they
think that's
both
true.
do the same thing.
So
Oh yeah,
the
dude.
view,
Look at
I
look
don't
at the
think that's
history of
true.
fascism.
I think most of
They
the
did
people
they did in Italy.
of Germany didn't love Adolf Hitler. They feared his SS.
I'm not talking about that because that's not the type of fascism that he takes the playbook of. He takes the playbook straight from Mussolini, the inventor of fascism.
No, there's an argument for both. But like if he's going full fash, Trump's a fan of Mein Kampf. That was pretty much confirmed like 30 years ago.
But that's the thing. I think the reason why, I mean, that's easy to understand. He's got power fantasies, bro. And all Mein Kampf is a fucking, is mental masturbation, bro.
I know,
That's all it
I
is.
read it.
Right. So for him, he can just read that book. He can read that book and be like, look at this cheese dick motherfucker right here. He's so powerful and everything like that. And he can envision himself as that. He can be like, I am that. I'm
not denying that, but I'm just saying, like, your argument seems more applicable towards the FBI, who at this point has been deleted down to nothing but Trump loyalists, people that can pass the lie detector test, saying they'll never betray Trump. Like all of this has been reported. I'm not saying that the parents wouldn't stay quiet for Trump, but it doesn't explain the media silence surrounding the parents' house. Like in a normal situation, like none of this is normal.
Come on, bro.
None of this is normal.
And this is, I don't know, man. In this climate we got going on from this administration.
Yeah, I mean, none of this is normal. I think that, especially given this administration and the obvious ineptitude of the FBI, journalists would be digging in even more, right? But like, I still haven't seen like a major journalist even delve into the Groyper connection, which is plain as fucking day. Like you at least got to delve into it. It's like independent media. That's about it. I think maybe Don Lemon talked about it, but he's not like main media anymore. Like journalists, I'd say like Washington Post seems to be, or not Washington Post, Wall Street Journal and the New York Times seems to be trying to do a decent job, but no, nothing seems normal about this. None of the story makes sense, right? So supposedly the parents was going to get like $100,000 or $1 million that supposedly lefties on a GoFundMe raised. And I don't deny that it was probably quite a few lefties. Maybe, I doubt it. Definitely some, but it was probably mainly more likely.
You're going to get $100,000 what? You kind of...
It was $1 million. It was like $1 million GoFundMe that was raised for Tyler Robinson's defense, right? And supposedly the parents were going to give that money away, and they're still reporting that they're going to give that money away, but they're not going to give that money away, right? The $1 million, and they're not reportedly going to use that money for Tyler's defense. He's got some shitty.
I thought they were going to give I thought his dad said he was going to give the money to TPUSA.
No,
or to Charlie Kirk's family.
As far as I understand, that's been debunked. That was never.
Oh, okay. They just wanted everybody to be fucking Charlie Kirk's a martyr. Because the thing is, what the Trump administration really wanted to do was they wanted a Reichstag moment. They wanted to turn him into a martyr, and they wanted to do that shit. So,
and they're trying to do it again with this ICE shooting.
Yeah, with the stupid shit written on the bullets, which they got the idea. They were like, it worked the first time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy because it was like, and he said in the text messages, remember when I was engraving those bullets? I'm like, dude, it's like, how did Kyle Kalinske say? He's like, oh, I'm Mr. Crime Man. Let me explain to you how I did the crimes that I did as Mr. Crime Man. I'm like, what the fuck?
None of it makes fucking sense. Like, no, like who can like?
But the language to me, dude,
to the crime completely, like that doesn't make sense.
You're
gonna lay out your master criminal plan with a digital imprint. Like, come the fuck on.
I haven't heard any 22-year-olds that I've had to interview for work ever talk to call their dad old man. I've heard pops, dad, all kind of stuff like that. Like, but I've never heard my old man. That's something you hear from our generation. Well, kind of ours, mine and your generation, because you're what, half a generation above me.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, the more times this keeps happening, the more ridiculous it gets. Like, somebody shot Charlie Kirk, right? And whatever you think about Charlie Kirk, like, he at least deserves to have an like a solid investigation behind it, like an FBI that's going to explore all leads.
Yeah,
And
he deserves to have his killer brought to justice just like everybody else, man.
But it doesn't seem like that. It seems like the FBI is trying to follow the lead of the president, and that's a major fucking problem. The DOJ is following the direct directions of the president. It's unprecedented, and it's not just like an adept DOJ or an adept FBI. These are very corrupted organizations now, run by very corrupted people that only care about their own power underneath the dictator. And guess what? Like, the dictator isn't even really Trump anymore. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be around for too much longer. Like, the dude is dying before our eyes. The dictator is going to be JD Vance, and they're trying like hell to get JD Vance out there, kind of being Trump-like, so MAGA gets.
Well, no, wait a second. You don't understand that JD Vance doesn't believe in democracy, right?
Oh yeah, no, he wants to be king.
Like, he doesn't believe in democracy. He's one of those Republicans that's like, and that's what's crazy democracy to me. Yeah, what's crazy to me is that they want to do the exact same shit that the Nazis did, which is to use the freedom of speech, the freedom of expression, the freedom of power of person to take control and then immediately remove those rights.
Yep, and then put the country under the direct dictatorship of an autocrat, preferably him.
And my thing is this, man. The only reason I say he can't do it, and this is why, man, he's got no fucking charisma, man. He's got less charisma than a stale bag of fucking Lay's potato chips, bro.
Most of MAGA hates him, basically because they're racist and he's got an Indian wife. It's not the trans thing from college or the I might have been gay thing when he was younger. It's the brown wife.
No, I think it's just that he's got no charisma, because the thing is, if he had charisma, like, that's the one thing I'll give Trump is that fool's got charisma. The kind of riz that gets my fucking my shit going, but I
liked him when he was on the.
You know what I mean? And
I like The Apprentice. I thought it was a good show.
Even
knowing what I knew about Donald Trump, I thought it was a good show.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's got that it factor.
When they were, well, from what I understand, when they were filming Apprentice, that Trump Hotel was in rough shape, and they had to film from what they called very creative angles, to make shit look good,
I guess behind the scenes, they all thought he was a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
But,
it's
funny.
to me, like, you think about it, and it's like, but you know what? The one thing that has shown through though is, I don't know if people are catching this shit, but his ties to old school corrupt crime, organized crime, are starting to show through. Because the only way this fool knows how to do business is like some mafia style shit. Strong arming motherfuckers. That's like the only way he knows how to do business. And that's from his days in New York, man.
My favorite person on YouTube right now is Mary Trump, and she'll talk about like growing up around Donald Trump a lot. It is fucking hilarious. She despises him. It's great.
Is that his sister?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Huh?
Is that his
Mary Trump
half-sister?
I think it's his half sister.
Because his dad
I
had
think
multiple
he was like
fucking
a
baby
federal
mamas,
attorney.
right?
Yeah, his dad was a douchebag.
Oh, so because you know what they're trying. Okay, so you heard about what the Trump administration wants to do with American citizens that were like 10 generations American, right?
Huh.
You do the wrong crime, they send your ass to El Salvador instead of sending you to an American prison.
If you're not 10 generations America.
No. I'm talking about people that are 10. They've been here forever. There's no way that you can't say that they're born in America, that they're not American. You can't call them anchor baby. They got everything that we want them for the Republican 10. You do the wrong crime, the wrong thought crime, they're shipping your ass to fucking Venezuela. That's what they want to try to put through right now. And I'm like,
Holy
that's
shit, dude.
crazy, dog. Like,
I know,
mean,
like
it's
Laura
not even
Loomer
like
called
getting
for
disappeared. They're straight trying to do it on the books.
like Laura Loomer and other conservatives are calling for Hassan Piker's deportation.
They're like, oh, he take away his, but he was born in fucking New Jersey. What do you?
He was born here, but they're still calling for his deportation.
Oh yeah, fucking. Think I don't like her very much, but I think Rosie was like, fucking take my citizenship, man. Fuck you.
But I don't know. All right, so we'll continue this because we're getting to the good part, and I'll get your thoughts on this because this is a wild conspiracy, but he makes good points. So
are they going to bring up the Bushman?
No, this is just fucking crazy, man. This is about Charlie Kirk's in a lapel microphone if he was wearing one. This is wild, bro. All right, so let's check this out.
So my question, go ahead.
They're about to get to it.
No, you're right. So all of those things. Why just release the footage, FBI? Like, why cut off the first, as we pointed out last week on the show? Give us that footage.
And can I just go back a little bit on that point while we're on the gun? We still don't know how the gun got up there in the first place. They're talking about how he might have hobbled up with it in his pants.
Yeah.
We don't have none of that makes sense. We don't have a confession. We don't have a bullet. So yeah, the case against him is weak. Go ahead.
And Eye Candy in our chat says, yes, it came over the scanner, the police scanner, that he was wearing tactical gear and a mask. So a separate police scanner confirmation of on.
All right, so and that's another thing. I don't know the legitimacy of that, but I have heard.
I don't know how it is in Michigan, bro. I don't know how it is in Michigan, but if you ever been to Chicago, you ever been to Illinois, and you know for a fact them boys can put a whole pole in their pant leg. You wouldn't know. Them motherfuckers walking around, running around, doing shit. You'd never know, but they got a whole pole down their leg, dog.
What? Yeah, but I mean, the pictures of Tyler Robinson. There's no way he had a 30-06 in his pants. But this isn't that. This is somebody that said they saw the shooter.
He put it in the backpack, but the backpack it don't fit in the backpack.
Yeah, it don't fit in the backpack, so it's not possible. But no, this is somebody else that said they saw the shooter, but it was a guy like behind Charlie Kirk, and he was wearing tactical gear and a mask.
But you know why we're even having this
I've heard that from several people. But, like, and that's not the wild conspiracy theory, but that's another one.
But the only reason the entire country is having this conversation right now is because
the FBI.
The FBI has absolutely broken the faith of the public in their ability to do their job.
And that's what I'm saying. This is another Epstein completely of their own making. If Donald Trump wouldn't have fired the entire FBI because he went on a fucking vengeance path, right? If he wouldn't have had a fealty test in the FBI, if he'd have actually put a responsible director of the FBI, none of this would be happening to them again. But now they not only have the Epstein files hanging over their head, this is going to hang over their head. And especially if the kid either A, doesn't make it to trial, or if he makes it to trial and is set free because the FBI is so inept.
Oh, bro.
Because I don't think you can't take that to the Supreme Court. There's no double jeopardy on a murder trial.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, no, dude, this dude could be a fucking can of ham soup, bro. They're gonna convict his ass. I guarantee that.
Not if they can't prove the case. Not if surely somebody's gonna end up taking this case. Not this fucking public defender.
I'm not the first person. Come on, dude. It's not hard to come up with a jury in Utah that's gonna convict this dude.
It might just be a slick ass lawyer out of law school trying to make his fucking name, but like I think at this point with what we've seen from this FBI, pretty much anybody could beat this case. I think I could beat this case.
I don't know, man. I think if you put him on trial,
I know enough about I know enough about the law at this point. I mean, once you've been inside, you learn about the law. I think I could beat this case.
I don't know. I don't think so. The reason why I think that they could get him is because right now there's so many people that are super pro Trump there in that state. You could put this fool on trial in the near future, and they could go in and be like, I don't know, we kind of think he did it, and they'd be like, guilty.
Maybe.
Because they're looking. I'm telling you, dude. If they,
But
if
again,
they,
like a good. So I think probably one of the top lawyers in the country, one of the top defense lawyers in the country, is going to end up taking this case, and this motherfucker is going to know how to pick a jury. This motherfucker is going to know how to go through their evidence, how to fucking refute their evidence. Like now, if Tyler Robinson actually makes it to trial with the public defender, he doesn't stand a fucking chance, and it would be a travesty of justice. It would be a travesty of justice for this kid to be thrown under the fucking bus and not get a fair trial, especially if there's any possibility he's not the shooter. And right now, there's a lot of possibility.
I don't know. You know as well as I do, man. You never trust a public defender. They get paid by the same people the judge do. So,
Now, I'll agree with you. Like when it comes to like the federal level, they win what 92. I think it might even be like 98% of their cases.
but here's
But we're
the thing.
talking about the Trump federal government.
But
they
you know
don't
this as
win
well as
most
I-
of their cases.
This is the thing. You were. I don't know if you had federal charges or not, but
No, I was
you
facing
know-
them, but we pled them down.
Okay, so you know as well as I do that the feds only take cases to court that they know they got sewed up tighter than a fucking than a Versace purse, dude.
Well,
Um,
usually,
don't
again,
give a shit.
usually, but you cannot assume that about this administration. They're literally going after Comey over nothing.
What are you talking
Literally.
about? Though but this is the thing. This is the thing. Somehow they've also. I don't know if they just bullied him or just fucking barraged him into submission. But the judicial department branch is kowtowing to this guy now. Like literally, they just had a ruling that said that the judge said in their ruling what him firing all these inspector generals was obviously illegal, but there's nothing that can be done about it. What?
The only thing that can be done about it is to impeach the president. That's
Like
the
it's
only
crazy.
thing.
It's obviously illegal. Then guess what? It wasn't legal. Undo it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem. He's not listening to judicial orders. The president must be impeached. I
This is
don't
my
under-
thing. This is my thing.
I don't want-
At
so,
least
we're-
Biden
Republican
listened to
Party
the
are
fucking
traitors.
courts. When the,
But so
when the
again, like-
Republicans use the courts to stop him
and
at
that's what
every
I'm saying.
turn, you know,
That's
at
what I'm
least he
not
listened
really
to 'em.
understanding though, Puff, right? Because you do not trust this government, and yet somehow you seem to be trusting this FBI a little too much.
No,
for my
no,
comfort.
I don't trust them. What I'm saying is, I just err on the side of, you know what? If it sounds interesting, it's probably wrong.
Usually, I would
It's
agree.
a great saying I heard from a
it's a
scientist. If
different
it
world
sounds
now.
interesting, it's probably wrong.
It's a different world now. Now we live in a world of Trump where the conspiracy is probably true.
But no, the thing is, no, it's not even conspiracy, because the thing is, the stuff they call conspiracy is the quiet parts they literally said out loud on tape in front of a fucking camera.
Yeah. Well,
So it's
yeah,
not.
and
It's
that's-
just that people got their hands in front of their eyes, thumbs in their ears, and they're going, "What? I can't see or hear shit going on right now."
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so maybe if the president hadn't come out right from the get with the narrative, and maybe if Kash Patel would have stayed in fucking Washington and let like Governor Cox and fucking the lead FBI dude that was on the scene, because he seemed rather competent, you know, just let them handle it, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now, right? But
Right.
unfortunately,
And I will
unfortunately,
admit,
the president did do what he did, and Kash Patel did go to the crime scene and did what he did, and he continues to do that. Like literally, how do we know?
So-
How do we know
I got
with
a
this ice
question.
shooting that Kash Patel didn't take a clip of those bullets and just write anti-ice on it, take a picture, put it on his fucking Facebook file, and say, "Look, we got him, left-wing ideology," and he's not even in fucking Texas. How do we know that? We
I don't
don't.
know.
We have no fucking clue.
Well, I got a question for you, Knock. When the governor of Utah said, was saying, I prayed to God that he wasn't one of us. Did it feel like he was talking about white people? Did they said, oh no, he's talking about
No,
Utahns? It felt like
no,
he was talking about white people.
He was talking about Utah. I'm pretty sure because like in Utah, it's like a thing. Like Utah, they kind of see other like people from out of state as foreigners, as far as I understand.
Well, everybody was somebody's cousin.
That's how I took it anyway.
To me, it sounded like he was like. For me, it felt like he was like, I hope he wasn't a white guy.
No, I think he meant like Utah, or even like, yeah, an American, like maybe
Oh my
hoping
God,
it was like
dude.
an Islamic extremist or something.
Dude, come on, man. No, if it is extreme violence in America, it's 99.9% of the time is an American. Like, I mean,
What does that mean?
statistically-
Does Doubting Thomas mean that what I'm saying is QAnon? Do you think?
I don't
know.
understand QAnon.
QAnon? Yeah, so like
Maybe
maybe QAnon.
it's QAnon. I don't know.
Yeah. So so like the Epstein shit would be QAnon shit. This shit right here is just like that again. So yeah, we're talking conspiracies, and we're gonna get into a wild one here. I almost just want to come out and fucking say it because it's crazy. I'm showing right-wing conspiracies, right? I'm not saying I subscribe to these conspiracies. What I subscribe to is that the FBI, what they're saying is bullshit. That's what I subscribe to.
Well, I think it's crazy that they would have an event like this where, you got this many people, this person is this famous, and you don't have staff security, you don't got, or school security, you don't have cops on hand. Like this is, they should have had, at the very least should have had some security because of the fact that, God forbid it's a gun. What if somebody just comes and brings violence for any reason? They're just literally a mentally insane person, right? So they're like watching his videos on their phone in the homeless camp and shit because they've been kicked out of their house because they got mental problems and shit, and their family doesn't want to actually take them to treatment anymore, or deal with it anymore. They've had to switch medications 8 times and it's just not working. Their family just gives up and kicks them out, But they're way down the fucking tubes and they fucking come in and do something crazy. But from what everybody said, there was no security, there was no checkpoints going in and out, none of that stuff. So it was like an assassin's wet dream, dude.
Well, he did have security. He had I think 2
around
personal
him.
bodyguards. And
yeah,
then
like
he had
2
like
dudes
6
around him, but there was nobody.
Yeah, he had his 2
flow of people
bodyguards
in and out of the area.
Well, no, they did have 6 off-duty police officers working security for the event. It just wasn't enough, and there was like no metal detectors. And like if you looked at the crowd, it is
But
Utah. People were walking around with their
and out.
guns and shit. Like there was probably several people. So when people say like the shooter had tactical gear on, it could just be like in the heat of the moment they saw something that they thought they saw something they didn't see, because probably several people in that crowd were decked out in full tactical gear with their assault rifle slung loosely over their shoulder, because like it's Utah. Like that shit happens here in Michigan, right? Like for these kind of events.
There's a mix of people that are dressed like that, they're posers,
and they said like people were walking around with their guns and shit, like so yeah, I just I'm rational, right? I'm not saying that Tyler Robinson isn't the shooter. I don't personally think he is, because from what I've seen of the video footage, and like you'll kind of see it here when we get there, it looks like he shot in the back of the fucking head. And if he shot in the back of the fucking head, then it's not Tyler Robinson.
It looks from the back and to the right, man. But
yeah, it looks like he shot in the back of the fucking head, or he shot with a projectile in the front. That's the only thing that makes sense for the entry wound to look like that. Though. Well, I'm not talking about a bullet though.
Well, what I'm saying though
But
is
that's what we're about to get into. So let's continue this real quick, and then we'll
Go ahead.
continue our conversation.
Camera or individuals witnessing that. But let's get back to the heart of the matter, Ryan, which is this new video evidence. And I think so. We talked about the inconsistencies on the Tyler Robinson piece of this. Now let's get to. I want to show some new footage here. So what we're seeing here is some new footage that was obtained. It was released.
So again, during this part, not right now, but coming soon, you're going to get a kind of close up, really slow version of the time period right before and during Charlie Kirk getting shot. You will see a hole open up in his neck, right? You will see that. I've warned this whole time. You're going to see that. Now, you're not going to see the blood coming out. It's only going to look like a red hole, but I'm giving you that warning. You're going to see the moment that he's shot.
Yesterday.
Are we going to see the shot? We should warn.
No, we're not.
Okay.
So this is some new. What are we seeing here? This is like 10 minutes of footage filmed at a location, and I'm going to show just so you can see the vantage point. This is.
It might be in a minute. I don't think it's this one, but it is coming up, and you're not going to see the shot, but you're going to see the hole open up.
Never before seen footage until yesterday that was just released. And the person filming it, I want to show this photo of where this vantage. So this person here with I think a pretty strong, like maybe a Panasonic or Sony camera with even like a boom microphone from that location. So can you tell us what we're seeing here? And then we'll get to the further close-up evidence.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here is this was a gentleman filming from quite far away. And what you're going to watch here is you're going to watch the microphone. I want your audience to pay attention to that little black dot on the top left of Charlie's shirt, because it's really important. That's what we believe. That looks like there's some.
All right. You see a good shot right there. Right there. Let me get my arrow right there. That black spot. That's what they're saying is his lapel microphone. So Charlie Kirk is using a microphone for the debate, but he's probably also filming it for Turning Point USA. And to do that,
clean audio.
he'd be wearing a label microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Type of
need because you
explosion
gotta have
that
clean.
hits-
You gotta have
And you
clean
can see
audio.
it right there. Like you can see it. It's right. It's there, right? So, all right, let's continue.
shirt right at the moment of impact. Now,
And
you
we
guys
should say
remember
you're not going to see blood here. We're gonna stop it right after this thing potentially explodes, basically. So let's roll that footage here. But you're not going to see the horrible aftermath. We just want to warn people about that. All right. So this is the footage here. This is a
Cameraman
wide
did
shot.
not graduate film
Puts the
class.
mic down, and now here's a closer version. So Ryan, what are we seeing here?
Go ahead. You're going to watch. I want you to pay attention right there. He pauses it. You see it pause, and you almost see like a cloud of smoke. There is some type of explosion.
no.
There's something happening.
No.
under that shirt, and I want.
Go back. You know what that is, right? Yeah, he did
What?
get shot in the front. That I've seen that before. I've seen that many, many times, dude. Okay, you see that a lot of times when that's the compression wave around the bullet. Like I've seen that many times, dude.
They talk about that. They said the draft wouldn't cause this.
No.
And-
Not like air. So what I'm saying is, if you watch some gun tube stuff, right? If you watch when the bullet's flying, right? Some reason on these really high end digital cameras, right? Like some pretty, and this seems like a very good digital camera, right? Can't like a DSLR or something like that. But you can see the compression wave. It's for lack of a better word, it's a pressure wave that's around the bullet, and you can see it. It's where it's almost like when you're in the desert and there's the horizon is all shimmery and everything like that, and you get the what do they call it? The thing where you see something but it's not really there, right? When you get that effect going on, but it looks like that, and that's exactly when they show that right there. When it first hit, yeah, you can see it's like a distortion of the light going through or something. It's because of the way that the air has different pressure or whatever. But yeah, you can tell that's from the bullet going in, and you only see that when the bullet's in free flight.
So I think you're kind of jumping there. I think you're jumping there. I think you want that to be the case, right? So remember
No,
when this first
when I
happened?
saw it, I've seen that before. I've seen that.
Remember-
it almost like a warping of. It looks like a warping, like a mirror effect or something.
Remember when this first happened and everybody slowed it down and they said it looked like the bullet ricocheted off of his vest. That's why a vest came up. And actually, almost from this
But you can
shot,
see
it
in
almost
that.
just kind of looks like
But
he has
no.
a vest on, but he doesn't.
No, you can see in other videos though. You can see his nipples. You can see his chest.
Yeah, I know,
you
but
his
what I'm
breast.
saying is, people
So-
thought it looked like the bullet ricocheted and then went into his neck, and they thought it was a bulletproof vest, and then it was confirmed he wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest, right? So people stopped talking about that, but here we have it again, and they're going to go into it, and yes, you're right in the microphone. They're going to actually show you what kind of microphone it is, but it is like the outer part. What you're seeing there is the microphone part, and inside is a magnet clipping it to his shirt. And they're going to talk about it. And again, I'm not saying I subscribe to this. The only thing I subscribe to is I think he was probably shot in the back of the head, but that's a different video that's out. That's not this video. That's a lot of different videos that's out. That's not this
But no,
video,
if
right?
they're saying that that's because it did look like a very clean hole, and if that's the video right there, I've never got to see this video before, but I'm telling you, dude, that's what I like. I wish you would pull up.
Yeah.
You could pull up one where they're just
Yeah,
shooting.
we're
guns,
gonna
right?
we're gonna see
can
the
see that.
hole open up. We are gonna get to that point. Like you're gonna see the hole open up, but you're not gonna see the blood come out. Like it's gonna stop pretty much right when either the bullet goes in or out, or when this. So the theory here is Mossad. They don't say Mossad, right? They talk about Mossad's capability to do something like this because they've done it recently. They did it in Lebanon with the pagers, and it wasn't just in Lebanon. It was wherever they wanted to kill, and they did it very
Bro.
successfully. You know,
They did it in Yemen. Sorry, I think it was. But
it was Lebanon.
Lebanon.
It was
Yeah,
Lebanon. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they've done much more convenient, much more creative ones than that. You didn't hear about the.
Oh yeah. They
heard
are
about
the premier assassins in the world.
but
Like that's
did you hear
not
about
that's just facts.
Did you hear about the satellite operated, truck mounted, automated, AI assisted machine gun that they fucking had shipped in country, assembled, and then they used to assassinate one of the highest, the top level nuclear scientists?
Yeah, they've made it an art, but like I wouldn't even put something like this.
And they did it in Iran, bro. I'm like,
And
that's balls. And then the truck,
I would
the truck
maintain-
was rigged with explosives to blow itself up.
I would maintain. I think people would leap to say it's automatically Mossad because I would maintain our CIA is probably just as capable of that
Dude, if
kind
this
of
was
technology.
Mossad, bro, if this was Mossad, bro, the person that did it, quote unquote, would have been found dead hours later. They're much cleaner than this. Mossad is way too clean for this. Sorry.
Well, again, I don't think that they were. So I don't think that
There's
So if
no
it was
way
Mossad,
the most feared in
Well,
terms
what-
of
what if it's
human
this scenario
life
though, Puff?
ending.
What if
What's
it's
that?
this scenario though, Puff? What if it's this scenario? So say Mossad, because all of the reporting, and I don't subscribe to this. The only thing I subscribe is to the fact that the FBI, I don't trust a single fucking thing they're telling me. I don't think that at this point, I don't think Tyler Robinson's the shooter because I think he was shot from the back. So we have all this reporting about the troubles that Charlie Kirk was having with Israel, right? And he was having them. People can deny
I
it
know
if
that
they,
just
if they
days
want.
before,
He was having
just days
problems
before
with
this.
Israel. You know,
Yeah, just
So-
days before this at an event, they had cornered him. They pulled him to the side and they cornered him and were like, "Hey, yo, you got to stop questioning this shit. You got to stop saying that Israel is committing a genocide in Palestine and shit like that."
and,
You gotta stop
and
doing-"
the Epstein files.
And his response, right? I mean, his response was, "Man, this is." And he said to somebody who's like, "Man, it's crazy. I have less freedom of speech on Israel than a person that's from Israel."
Yeah. So let's say Mossad decides to pull that trigger, right? And they don't know that Tyler Robinson has been planning to kill Charlie Kirk for a week and a half, right? And Tyler Robinson's up on that roof, and he doesn't pull a trigger from that roof. You know, I'm not saying I subscribe to that. I think Charlie Kirk was shot. I think this is a bit stretched. I think what explains the hole better is that it's an exit wound, not some projectile exploded from this microphone.
But no,
But I'm
I've
just
seen
saying,
other
like, this
ones
is a
where
wild ass theory that
I've seen
it
another
can't be
video
don't
that was much.
it can't be dismissed because it was just recently done by Israel, but I think it could be done by like a lot of different probably intelligence services. It could
Well,
be
I mean, I've
literally
seen
anybody.
other videos of it up close, and right after the bullet hit and the holes there and shit, and it was a very clean hole. So it did look like, if it wasn't an exit hole, right? Like in that case, which, in that short amount of space, maybe 3 inches of meat at the most, it's not gonna start to expand in that small amount of space. You need a good 10, 12 inches, or you need something hard for it to hit for it to expand. But so it would come out as small like that. It wouldn't tear or anything like that, I don't think. But it could have been an entry wound as well. And with seeing that video that you just showed me right here, it kind of makes me think that maybe that is the case. I don't know. The evidence is starting to line up.
The entry wound usually would be smaller. The exit wound is pretty much going to do most of your damage.
Yeah, but that's
as far
only
as
if
I
it had
know.
time to expand. And the reason why, like handguns, the reason why the exit wound is so big compared to the entry wound is because the bullet's moving slower, so it has more time to expand and do its damage. But in something like that, like a high velocity, that's why like say like if you shot somebody that was like like they had a lot of adrenaline going or whatever, shoot them maybe with a 7.62 or a high velocity round, it might go through them and they might not drop. But you shoot them with a slower round that will deposit all that energy in their body instead of passing through them, and they're gonna drop like a sack of potatoes. So it's all dependent on what he was using. You know what I mean? And we
Yeah,
don't know
I
what kind
think
of
they said
round he
like
was using.
I think the ballistics are like 3,000 feet per second, which is pretty normal for a
2,500 feet,
30-06.
2,500 foot per second, I think, at the muzzle velocity. So
Mm.
it might have hit him. It's still carrying 1,800 foot of, feet per second. So,
Well, so Tom, so in these situations, most people's immediate reaction, they're not looking for a gun, and especially like if you're in a crowd where people are carrying. Now, I'm not sure I'm not certain that people were carrying open on a college campus in Utah. I don't know if that's allowed on a college campus in Utah. I don't know the rules around it. I think that I've heard people say that people were open carrying and that several people were like decked out in tactical gear. And I know that that's normal here in Michigan. Like you're not going to see that every day, but like if they gather together, you're going to see a couple people in tactical gear with their assault rifles slung over their shoulder. So as far as like people reporting seeing him shot from behind, there's been actually several people that's reported seeing him shot from behind, and they're actually going to get into the footage as we get further into this video of the people that's actually on the roof. And people have talked about it before, but the people that's on the roof next to Tyler Robinson don't react the way that you would expect them to that close to that shot, right? Like they don't. And then they're also going to point out like several people on the that's close to that building he's on aren't reacting to that shot quite like you would expect from a 30-06 20, 30 yards away from him, right? So like there's a lot of shit that just doesn't add up here. Again, I don't know Dick. I don't know if he was shot from behind. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. I've been all over the place on this shit. It's the CIA and Donald Trump, and I didn't really say that shit out loud. And then I went to Israel, and then I went to like I don't know what the fuck is going on, and now I'm like I think he's shot from behind. So like if that tells you anything.
If the angle they're talking about is the angle that happened, then somebody would have caught one in the crowd. They would have caught a hot one.
All right, sorry, just 1 second, dude. All right, I'm gonna play this. I've got to talk to somebody real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that,
Sorry.
but like to me, it would make sense. But like
Sorry.
that video, I never got to see this. So okay, go ahead.
No, yeah, I've got to talk to somebody real quick, so I'm gonna play this. I'll be right back.
All right.
want you to watch to the right. Do you see that? How like his neck, it was almost like a big gust of wind or something. Something happened under that shirt and it blows his shirt right off to the right. And Hugh, you'll see it right here. Watch to the right and then watch the left on the mic. See, you see the explosion there. It is, see that air pocket? It was almost like some weird air pocket caused his shirt to shoot up like that. And at the same time, what you can't actually see in this video is Charlie Kirk has on that silver necklace. And if your audience remembers, we thought we were watching his earphone, his earpiece get blown out of his ear, and we couldn't make sense of that. Well, according to Candace, that was his necklace. That was his chain necklace that you seen actually getting blown off and blowing over his ear. And now I have a chain necklace on, right? I have this gold cross on. How would it be possible? I thought maybe like the bullet went through his neck and you could see it protruding out the back of his spine. So I thought maybe that the force, even though the bullet didn't get through, it was just such a rapid force in the back of his neck that somehow it snapped the chain.
All right, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
rewind
that
that 'cause I
round's
didn't
moving
hear
a
it.
lot of air. That round's moving a lot of air when it goes through, when it's traveling though. So
Yeah, and I'm
that's
gonna
what
take
moved
it
his
back.
shirt.
I'm gonna take it back a little bit because I was talking. My aunt's telling me some story, and I told her not to trust what she was reading, but I'm gonna look into it. So supposedly she's being told on her algorithm that Trump is giving $2,000 payments to everybody, and I'm like, I wouldn't trust that. I'll look into it. So yeah, I didn't see that, so I kind of took it back a little bit. We'll watch that again.
Well, according to Candace, that was his necklace. That was his chain necklace that you seen actually getting blown off and blowing over his ear. And now I have a chain necklace on, right? I have this gold cross on. How would it be possible? I thought maybe like the bullet went through his neck and you could see it protruding out the back of his spine. So I thought maybe that the force, even though the bullet didn't get through, it was just such a rapid force in the back of his neck that somehow it snapped the chain. But the chain breaks in the front. So how does the chain break in the front and then go off backwards over my ear? That was the one part I could never figure out. Okay, so we have the chain breaking, we have it blowing off over the back of his head. And at the same time now, we have evidence that's showing some device on Charlie's shirt that looks like it gets detonated. And you see this huge puff of air blow up his shirt, while at the same time, that was the first video that we seen where you could actually see, like it looked like a little cloud of smoke, a little cloud of air. I don't know what that was, but it was coming out right from under his shirt, exactly where that microphone was.
Which I saw
Now, John
before, but I didn't
Bray-
see it this time.
So John Bray
This dude
has been
using
analyzing
boomer
this,
logic, bro.
and
Say what?
This dude's using boomer logic. He doesn't like. I mean, if he spent 2-3 days, just a couple days on GunTube, he wouldn't be asking these questions.
Yeah, he doesn't know shit. He knows about kind of what I know about guns, I think. Which I don't know who this
Like-
guy is. Like
That.
this
the
guy
reason why
might be like a
his-
left wing dude because he's got the whole genocide thing across BB's face. I don't think that these are left wing people, but he might be. I don't know. He's some kind of like investigative reporter.
Oh well, but yeah,
and I think
that
I've
was the
heard of him
air that
before.
that was the air that was entrained with the bullet as it was moving. So, which makes sense, you know.
Yeah, I
but-
think that this conspiracy is wild. See, I'm more
Yeah.
on. I thought about showing the other video, but I'd have to find it, and I'm not sure if it's been taken down yet. The one that went viral about being shot in the back of the head, because it makes more sense with the exit wound, and it makes more sense with the way the body reacts, because the body doesn't react like he's shot from the front. If you look
But
at
here's
it,
the thing, right? People, I don't know. To me, it looks like when you get shot with shit, it's like, you know, high caliber bullets or whatever. It reacts opposite of what you would expect it to do. You know what I mean? It's weird. Plus, you got to understand, like, his body he's got muscles tensed. So as soon as it went through, severed his spinal
Well, see,
cord.
I
He
disagree
was-
with that though, Puff. I think gun people are quite familiar with what a bullet's going to do. It's really rare
Oh,
occasions when a
no.
bullet does crazy shit.
No. What I'm saying though is like, so like,
I want to find a ballistics video.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to.
Because I think the
ballistics
ballistics don't lie, and I think as soon as this kid's lawyer gets into a courtroom with the ballistics of a 30-06 and the damage it does to a human body, I think their case is shot out the fucking is pretty much laughed out of court. So see, ballistics on Kirk shooting.
I don't know. To me, it seemed pretty plausible. So
But the only one
Like,
I
I
might
was-
be,
there's like a lot. Of
I
stuff
might
about
only
the
find
initial
like
story, but
another video I'd have
with
to
the
watch,
shoot-
and I
with
don't
the
want to do
shot
that.
coming through like that. It seems pretty plausible.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll continue this video because to get an actual ballistics. See, this is one, but you'd have to get to the. It's a video on the ballistics. That's pretty much everything that I've been watching. And then there's like
guy that
stupid
did
videos
good
like
one,
this. Why a 200-yard shot is almost impossible, Charlie Kirk. And it's like that's not true. Like maybe impossible for me, but not for like people that's been shooting their whole lives. No, like my thing is like, so I don't think
Like,
it's a
have you
hard
seen the
shot for
video
Tyler
from
Robinson,
Range Day,
but
bro?
I think it's a hard shot for Tyler Robinson if he's never killed a human being before. Right.
Like, okay, here,
I think it
bring
becomes
up-
a much harder shot.
Bring
up?
up, look up Range Day, bro, and bring up his video from 3 days ago. I think it's like a 5-minute video. He goes over the getting shot from the back and the angles and everything like that. So, and he does it in a much closer video screen and all that.
Which one is it?
Should say 3 days, or maybe now later in the day, it might say 4. I think 3 days ago. I'm on my mobile, so I can't look it up myself.
Let me see. 4 days ago. So Kirk assassination, new video evidence, everything changes. Yeah, this might be the one that I actually saw. I understand and wish to pursue. Yeah. This is the one. All right. So let me get back to StreamYard. All right. Let's take this one down for a moment. All right, we'll come back up here. We'll take this down again up here. For some reason, it did it on both screens. All right, so let's do stop screen. All right. So let's get that over there, and I can put it on full screen. All right, cool. Yeah, this was the video I watched.
Proof that the FBI's official story is false,
But now
whether knowingly or unknowingly.
I don't think that this has any ballistics in it, which is what I was kind of looking for.
Well,
But
he's got
this
the-
is the shot from behind theory that I saw that was like, yeah, this I could probably, this is kind of where I'm at right now. But I saw like, yeah, this was the most compelling one.
Yeah, I think it
and I
does
saw a lot of different
because
videos.
he goes over that guy's video from 6 years ago. It's blowing
Oh.
up, where the dude did
Yeah.
30-06. Oh yeah, that's the one you want to look up if you want to show how it reacts. Go 30-06 ballistic dummy, and it'll be a guy that shoots a ballistic gel head with the skull in it, and you can see how it opens it up like a pumpkin, bro.
Yeah, it's like the head explodes.
Yeah, and
It's
I'm like,
fucking
We're gonna have an
crazy.
entire monologue.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So yeah, we'll check this theory out, and then I'll probably call it.
But
a
that's
night.
my thing, dude. That's my thing. Is if let's just say that it did hit him in the neck, and that's what stopped it, right? What happened to all that energy?
Yeah, it
That
doesn't
bullet
make any
was carrying
sense.
a ton of energy. It would have blown his neck out when it hit in the back like that.
Yeah,
Because the
if
energy's
what
got to
turning
go
point,
somewhere.
if what turning point is saying is true, and that like the surgeon did say that there was no exit wound, and notice that wording is very specific, like no exit wound in the back of the neck. Doesn't say there's an entry wound, though, does it? Right. So, but you know, the implication is that there was no exit wound, there was no wound in the back of the neck, and that the bullet was found just under, just beneath the
skin.
flesh on the back of the neck, right? So somehow his bone and tissue just it managed to stop it. That is not possible. I don't believe that for a second.
He must have drank. He drank like 45 gallons of milk every night, man.
Well, and that's why like the ballistics test
strongest
that I
bones.
saw on the elk bone was so important, because an elk's bone is like way more denser than a human being's bone, because they literally weigh like 2,000 pounds, or probably even more than that. Sorry, I think my daughter's blood is low. Yeah, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna play this for a second. I should get that off of there. Are you still there, Puff?
Yeah, I was just being quiet because
Oh.
I thought you were getting ready to play the video. I didn't want to
Yeah.
talk over the
Yeah,
video.
I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna get my daughter drinking some juice. I'll be right back.
Monologue and
Right.
talk about a lot of these things after I show you this. But if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this.
And in that video, you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
They're not counting gang violence. Great.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end. This is the angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting, and the angle of the shot, which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after.
All right, yeah. So I was wrong. It was this video that you see the hole open up. Yeah, so I would have been wrong on that anyway. Yeah, and there are, I think, some problems with this theory. You have to get the bullet lined up, I think, better than this guy does. But I think his theory is pretty sound by the way that the body reacts, and by the way that the hole opens up. Like, it doesn't look like it's an entry wound. I don't know shit about guns. I haven't shot a gun in over 30 years, but I'm pretty sure that it's not an entry wound.
As it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot.
Nah, I
his
thought
back
I was
right,
muted. Sorry,
and there's blood.
Nah, that shit looks exactly like
splatter.
the entry wounds
Coming out
on the
of the
motherfucking
entry
people
wound
on Midwest Safety.
immediately after
Sorry.
the shot.
Oh,
First
damn it.
arc
See, I was trying.
Well, knock your pause games on point.
Oh, sorry. I keep talking to a muted microphone. So I was trying to get it to pause when the hole's not in the neck. You know what I'm saying? And I was failing miserably. So what was you saying, Puff?
No, well, it was, so no, the part on his neck looks just like the entry wounds on motherfuckers on Midwest Safety and Streets of LA. So yeah, and they Midwest Safety, they be popping motherfuckers like a lot. So yeah, it looks just like that shit.
But as far as I understand it, so an entry wound is usually gonna be less
Entry wounds-
noticeable. Like you're
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
why
really
it's-
notice it.
Right, but that's a big fucking bullet to hit him.
Well, but I mean, so by this theory, it's not a 30-06. It's probably a handgun. Because the
But-
30-06 doesn't make no fucking sense. It just doesn't. Like the ballistics on it don't make sense. So
Well,
by
my
this
thing
theory,
is-
this
my
wouldn't
thing
be a
is, it's got a lot
30-06. It
of
would be a
energy.
shot from a handgun.
Right. My thing is the energy it deposited, if it stopped in his neck, doesn't make no sense. But what if the bullet went straight through his fucking neck, didn't even hit the vertebrae, right? It just, or it didn't hit the bone. It just went between the two, right? Went through the cartilage, severed his spine, went back out the back, right? Didn't leave a big hole. And they're just
We-
saying
we
that
know
the
it-
bone.
We know it hit the artery though because of the way he bled.
Oh, well. And that's the thing is that that's a weird angle for it to hit the artery because that hole's like right in the middle. So if that's an entry wound, how the fuck did it hit the artery?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So by this theory, the bullet comes,
But
it
it
hits
would-
him
it would
in
have to
the
bounce around in his
pretty
neck.
much at the base of the skull, and then travels down and comes out through the neck. So it would
Yeah.
travel. It would go straight through bone and artery from that trajectory.
Well, from what it shows right here, it's at his hairline, right? So it's below your skull, and it would have been through about
Yeah.
3 to 4 inches of neck muscle meat where there's nothing there. I know this because
Yeah, it's like in
they-
that area. It looks like probably right behind where you're, when you're feeling
There-
your skull, right where
Oh.
the base of your skull. Probably
yeah,
right
that's
there, and then
where,
travels up.
know that because that's it's right there where I got my spine fused, right? So and that's what I was saying is that there's nothing but meat and
Yeah.
stuff in there, so they can just push it all to the sides because they cut you open in the front and then they push
Now,
all the
and-
stuff to the sides and go in.
Another problem with this theory, because they think they found something with this still image here, right here, right? Like they've circled it. They think they have an image of a bullet that can literally be anything, right? So like you can't take like that's like
That could be
proof-
an artifact.
Yeah, that could literally be anything. That could be a bug. It could be an artifact, a
Mhm.
smudge on the wall. It can literally be anything. But it's just the body reaction, and then there does seem to be, and he points at he shows it fairly well. There does seem to be action at the back of the head before there's action when the hole opens up, right? So there does seem to be some kind of impact at the back of the head. And there has to be a reason that camera back there was taken out. It was taken down right after the shooting. Like there was a reason the first thing is like literally one of the first things they did was somebody went to that fucking camera and took it down.
Well, they probably were like,
Can't-
oh, here's my.
as far as
here's
I
my-
know-
here's my. They're innocent, right? And it's nothing, and we're reading way too much into it. Thing. They were just like, oh shit, they're gonna steal our camera, and fucking, they grabbed it.
Well, I mean, what for whatever reason they did it, it should be a crime that they did it. You everybody knows you don't fuck with a murder scene. Like
Well,
that
yeah,
shit.
but
you learn that shit.
come on, did you see Lady Ballers? These guys aren't bright.
Yeah, true that. True that. I don't know, but this is kind of where I'm at. Like, I think he was probably shot in the back of the head. It just because
Like, this is
again,
all-
the ballistics
this is all
from a
I'm saying,
30-06, maybe not every time. Maybe if you have some kind of special bullet or something, I don't know. But usually, like if you shoot a dude in his neck with a 30-06 from 200 yards away, from what I have seen ballistic wise, he's not going to have much of a head left. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like
this is my thing. Not
he's going to be damn near
I-
decapitated.
I don't shoot guns. I drive cars. So
Yeah, I don't
But I
either.
know one
Yeah,
thing. I know one thing. When you
I'm a
stop,
crash course
when you-
dummy on this shit.
When you stop something really fast, you got to do something with the energy.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
you
like
got to
you-
turn it
like
into
you-
heat.
you
It's got to
suggested
blow
earlier-
his neck out. Like his neck should have exploded like a fucking pumpkin.
Well, and I don't know how it would affect it. It would probably make it a much harder shot, but like maybe you suggested earlier, like maybe he adjusted the rifle so it wasn't much velocity behind. Like if you're projecting like 2,500 feet, per second, then maybe he adjusted it to be 2,000 feet per second or 3,000 feet per second to like affect. I don't know if that would affect the impact or not. Like, again, I'm not a gun guy, but these are gun guys talking about this shit, and it's the gun guys that are saying none of the shit that the FBI is saying is making sense. Like, this dude is clearly like, that dude has more money and guns behind him than I have in anything. Like,
Oh yeah. Dude, that, you could sell those guns and buy a house, bro.
yeah, like, that's fucking insanity right there. That's what's wrong with America right there. But
Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because guys like that own that many guns are the kind of guys that I want to own that many guns. You know what I mean? Because
hopefully
they're
they'll do the
responsible.
right thing.
Well, they're like him, the crazy Russian, right? These people are responsible
But
with their guns.
they're responsible
keep
with
them.
it.
They go through fucking hoops and hurdles and background checks galore to get the guns they got. Because any one of these guys that's got a machine gun permit, they probably got their ass. They had to get checked out up, down, left, and right. And then God forbid they got an FFL. They definitely got their backgrounds checked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and most of them are ex-military guys, ex-police.
Like I used to be scared about people that have those kind of guns and stuff like that because they talk crazy. But the thing is, they have to have a squeaky clean background to be able to get that kind of shit.
Yeah, I just don't like. You just don't need that many guns, man. And then what happens? Like, I don't know if you.
Yeah, but I don't want them to
psycho.
start. I don't want them to start banning cars. So I got to support the guns to the end, dude. I can't have them banning my fucking fossil fuel burning car, and because I can't afford to fucking e-swap my shit, man. So
we need to ban all cars and go to a logical public transit system.
We're gonna have to fight in the street, bro, because I'm not giving up my integrity, bro. It's
No,
not
we need a bullet train system, and we need to lower CO2 emissions drastically.
We need public transportation. I'm all down for that, but we still have to reserve the right for personal transportation because I've had that car over 10 years now, man, almost 12 years. I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For the planet, for the future
I'll
generations.
e-swap it before. No, now Rywire makes an e-swap, and if I can afford the $28,000, I'll do it. But it ain't cheap.
They'll never get rid of fossil fuel cars. We're literally a self-sacrificing race. Like we have every intention of sacrificing ourselves.
When it gets to the point where they have a battery that they know for a fact isn't gonna like have a thermal runaway event, right? And start to light fire and stuff, right? Once they have it like that, there's going to be stations just like all gas stations are going to start carrying a rack of rental batteries, right? And you pull in, you fucking you got a Nissan whatever, right? You boop boop, you get the rental battery and shit, and they pull the ones that are in your car out, chuck them in there, put the rental batteries in there, boom, you're off and away, and then you just stop at the same brand station or whatever up the road. You know what I mean? Or they're from a company that leases them to
I'm
these
surprised
gas stations, so you don't
Jill
have to
hasn't reported us.
I'm telling you.
Like I'm surprised like Jill didn't report us to the FBI
dude.
for like keeping like the Charlie Kirk shot right up on the screen like that. Like I just thought about that. Like what the fuck am I doing? I'm keeping the kill shot paused while we talk.
Like no, I'm like no.
Like they're getting people fired for quoting Charlie Kirk,
Yeah, that was crazy to me, right? They're like, "How dare you say these things about Charlie Kirk?" And I'm like, because I watch. I don't know if you've ever seen it. LBC, leading Britain's conversation with
no
James O'Brien. Anyway,
no, I don't think so.
It's like a radio call-in show.
I've seen clips of it on YouTube. So yeah, I know the James O'Brien guy. I see clips of it on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, what was I gonna say? He all he was doing was in the beginning he thought like Charlie Kirk he's a brave guy and stuff like that. Even though he said stuff I don't agree with, he's a brave guy, right? And then people were like, "What are you talking about? He's crazy. Pull this quote up, pull that quote up, right?" And he started playing this stuff, right? And then they're like, he started getting people complaining about how dare you try to paint Charlie Kirk in this light? And he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm just playing his own words." Like, how am I painting him in a bad light? That makes no sense.
They hate his own words because, I mean, they know, like in the old world, the world we lived in a year and a half ago, that for them to come out so openly and try to make this dude as some kind of saint would show them all to be racist. And now it's like, how dare you say he said racist things? But he did, you know, like black women don't have brain power, remember? Right? You know,
Like,
it's
oh no, it's like my brother. I was talking to my brother, and he was like, I was like, man, he said that he was like he doesn't agree with affirmative action, right? And I was like, no. What he said was he thinks that civil rights movement, the Civil Rights Act, was a bad idea, right? He was like, no, he didn't say. I was like, he did. He sure as hell tweeted that shit. And he's like, oh, well, I don't keep up with his tweets and stuff. You can't take every tweet. I'm like, nah, if you're taking the time to actually put it in writing, I'm taking it even more seriously than if you just said it flippantly. You know what I mean? You took the time to type it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, or like the time he said, like, if he gets on a plane and he sees a black pilot, he has to, you know, he immediately hopes that the pilot is qualified and able to fly the plane. It's like, what the
I'm
fuck,
like,
dude?
what? I'm like, my thing is, dude, I'm like, bro, he's way more qualified than you. I'm like, man, shit. I'm just glad to see. I'm just glad to see people in there that don't look like they're about to fall asleep because they're making them fly too many hours or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I
like
don't wanna see.
Charlie Kirk was like the kid that got his ass beat in high school because he was like the smartest kid in school and made everybody know it, right?
Like,
And
bro,
then as soon as he gets
okay.
out of high school, he gets backed by like these multi-millionaire right wingers.
Like, no, I thought those pictures for years. I thought those pictures of him from the front. I thought those were pictures with that filter that blows your head up, like gives you like encephalitis head and shit. But no, he had encephalitis head, bro. Like when he had his haircut, his head looked like somebody stuffed the air pump in his mouth real quick and pumped it up.
Yeah, he's got a big ass forehead, you know, and that's
Like
like
the sides of his head bulge out too and everything. I was like, dude, what is going on
you
here?
know, I got a big forehead, but you know, I'm also bald. Like he doesn't have that excuse, or didn't have
And
that
like
excuse.
I was talking to my brother. He's like, well, you know, he did all this. He worked hard. I was like, what are you talking about? He got a fat ass donation from the Koch brothers and one member of his family. He didn't have to even bankroll shit himself. He got to quit college and go make millions of dollars. How is that
Yeah, and
fucking,
it wasn't even
how
that.
is
It
that
wasn't even the
working
Koch
hard and pulling
brothers.
yourself up by your bootstraps? Oh, he
Yeah, I
had
mean,
to stay in
and it,
3-star hotels instead of 5-star hotels, man.
it wasn't even like the Koch brothers at first. I can't remember the dude's name, but it was some billionaire that found him and kind of like backed him, and then he met the Koch brothers, and then like he's been backed, and you know, like he didn't take the quote unquote 150 million that Candace Owens is talking about or whatever, but I'm sure he's taken quite a bit of money from Israel over the
Well,
years. Like that, nobody's been more pro-Israel
well, I
than
know
Charlie Kirk.
from
You
the
know?
Koch brothers. From the Koch brothers, he got like I think it's $15 million a year every year from the Koch brothers was given to
Yeah,
TPUSA. It's
yeah, it's
crazy.
fucking crazy.
They're crazy. Like even if it was only $1.5 million, right? That's like crazy amount of money to give them every single year. Here, go play with that, right? And that's just from the Koch brothers. That's not from any other billionaires, which he had other billionaires that were giving him money, and there was think tanks that were giving the TPS and TPUSA money. And what's funny is, I don't know if you ever seen one of their events, but you know their events, they have literally live infomercials during the event.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
and now time for our sponsor. Hey, would you like to buy a box of meat?
When I first started making videos as the Raging Atheist, I made a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. He was like one of my focuses, or it might have been on Life Considered. It might have been my other YouTube channel, but yeah, when I first started YouTube, he was like my focus. Him and Candace Owens, but back then, like her name was still Candace Owens, but she called herself Red Pill Black. And it was like right after she had gotten mobbed over the doxing shit.
Yeah, why did she go to the right? Because she tried to do some shit on the left and create a fucking doxing website, and people on the left were like, this is illegal, you should stop, this is terrible, don't do this. And she was like, what? I'm going to go grift somewhere else. See you guys later.
Yeah, like she said the left harassed her out of the left, and it's like, no, chick, like you were
No,
literally
but-
doxing people and putting people in danger.
The thing is,
were
right?
calling every Republican like a Nazi and shit. Like, and this was
The
back when
thing
every
is, like-
Republican wasn't a Nazi.
Like a lot of these kind of, I hate to say it, shitty people that tried to grift on the left, it didn't work, and they go to the right.
Yeah, like Dave Rubin. I'm
Yeah.
a classical liberal now. Like bullshit. Like by even what
Wait,
classical
they-
liberalism is, you're not a classical liberal.
Well, the thing is, to me, it's like they say this stuff, but what they really want is they were like, "What? I said I was on team. I said I was on Team Democrat. Isn't that good enough? You should let me do whatever I want." You know, and it's like you can do what you want, but you can't. That's the one thing I don't get is they don't understand that if you have the freedom of speech, if everybody has the freedom of speech, that means you are automatically not shielded from cultural pushback, from societal pushback. It's automatically taken off the table if everybody has freedom of speech. That means everybody gets to criticize you, and if there's people that don't like what you said, they're going to say something.
Yeah, and like the whole notion that you can't say something about somebody after they're dead is like, it's just ridiculous. So what? Like, or you can't celebrate somebody's death. The notion of it is ridiculous, right?
Well, I wouldn't.
so
I wouldn't
if
even go so far as to celebrate somebody's death. I don't think
Well, you wouldn't
somebody's
celebrate,
death.
like if you were alive when Hitler died, you wouldn't celebrate his death.
Well, okay, we're getting extreme.
What-
Here. Now, what I'm
I
saying
mean,
is, like,
Well,
I would
no,
celebrate.
I'm saying like
I can celebrate. Like, if I was Libyan, right? I could celebrate Muammar Gaddafi's death, right?
well, so say you're a black person and somebody has been racist to you your entire life and that person dies. Do you have the right to celebrate that person's death?
I mean, I don't know if it's I don't want to say right or not. Well, I personally, I don't know. I would hope that maybe, that they, that they learn their ways, their rights of their wrongs in the
Well,
afterlife.
and-
You know what I mean?
And that's my argument to anybody saying that people shouldn't celebrate Charlie Kirk's death. It's like, it's easy for you to say, because most of the people I see saying that are like white people, right?
No, I learned
it's easy,
from
it's
my
easy for
wife's
white people to
family.
say.
I learned
But
from my wife's
what I'm
family,
saying,
the
like,
first
if
person-
you're a person that Charlie Kirk has discriminated against, if you're a transgender person out there, or if you're a woman out there, or if you're a black person or a brown person, or anybody that he might have actually discriminated against for year after year after year, said that you're a second-class citizen, I'm not going to say they don't have the right to celebrate his death. Fuck, shit on his
I'm not going to
grave.
say. I'm not saying that anybody doesn't have the right to do that. I'm just saying I wouldn't do that. I personally wouldn't.
I don't know. I would.
and,
like,
like-
if somebody hurt
Like, my wife
child
doesn't feel that way, but her
repeatedly,
mother,
I'd
like,
spit
we
on their
feel-
fucking grave.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this, right? You're like, that person's got to answer for what they did, right? If there's any kind of judgment in afterlife, they got to
There ain't
answer for
though.
what they did, right? I don't.
There ain't though.
I don't.
You can only answer in life, or your legacy will answer for you after life. There is no.
Oh no, I'm not
there's
saying
no
that.
judgment.
No, I'm saying if there is some kind of afterlife or whatever, and they got to deal with it after then, that's fine or whatever. But the thing is, I also say, I say, hey, if you want people to say kind things about you, you should say. If you want people to say kind things about you after you die, you should say kind things while you're alive, right? About other people. I feel that 100%. But at the same time, I don't feel like celebrating somebody's death. Like it's not like oh, this guy was out killing people. If he was out killing people, like I felt totally different about the fucking healthcare CEO. So celebrate away, brother. Celebrate away. That dude killed thousands of people, bro. Personally, probably killed thousands of people by saying deny the claim. You know what I mean? Or pushing policies to deny claims. I don't feel bad about that dude getting dropped 1 second.
So, how many parties do you think Donald Trump will throw when Joe Biden passes from his cancer here shortly?
Oh, dude. Okay, that's the thing. Their side, they do this type of stuff, and I think that he's probably gonna get mad that the fucking the ballroom's not done at the White House.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's just like the hypocrisy. Like they're gonna celebrate Joe Biden dying. They would celebrate like how many people on the right wing would celebrate if knock on wood, I don't want this to happen. Somebody like Destiny, Hassan, Kyle Kalinske, if somebody was to take a shot, hit them, like they would celebrate that shit on the right.
Oh yeah, no. What I was gonna say was Donald Trump's son, Trump Jr., right? The day that I think it was the day after or 2 days after Paul Pelosi got fucking attacked, right? He was like, I got my Halloween costume and with a picture of a fucking hammer and a pair of underpants. You know, so
I know
like, and they're joking about it, and then Charlie Kirk, you know what he said would be a great thing, right? Is that if somebody had bailed out, the greatest thing that somebody could do for America would be to bail out Paul Pelosi's attacker and interview him.
Yeah, I mean, like me personally, one of my life goals.
What the fuck?
Like it's on my bucket list. I want to take a shit on Andrew Jackson's grave, right? I want to do that. Now, I don't think I'll ever do that. I don't think I'll have a chance to do that. I'd probably go to federal prison if I did that. But I want to do that, right? I want to do that before I die. I want to take a shit on his grave because fuck him, and you should be able to say that about awful fucking human beings, right? Like you should be able to say, Charlie Kirk was a fucking bad dude that said a lot of fucking bad shit and fuck him. I'm glad he's dead. You should be able to say that. Why? Because fuck him. But I didn't go around saying that. I did hold my tongue and hold my peace out of respect for the dead. But honestly, like I don't think that they would give that same grace, right?
Now, my thing is this:
they won't give that same.
I
grace.
feel like if you can make a funny joke about it, there shouldn't be any period of you can't make jokes about it, or you can't have a joke around this situation or whatever. If you can make a funny joke about it, and it's your job to make jokes because you're a comedian, go ahead and do it, man. But I just don't get down with people celebrating somebody's death, because the reason why I don't get down with that is because it becomes a vicious cycle. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, so would you celebrate, if
we're talking somebody that's truly evil versus somebody that's just out there talking shit?
So what happens when Donald Trump dies in the next month, 2 months?
That's somebody
year,
that's truly actually doing pound wheels to the ground evil fucking shit.
So how do you think they're going to react to us? Because I agree. I don't think I'm going to be able to contain myself, right? So, but how do you think they're going to react to that?
Oh, it's going to be immediate clampdown, Doc. There's going to be an immediate clampdown.
It's going to be like fucking blood in the streets.
It's going to be the most chilling effect on it's going to be the most chilling effect on free speech you've seen, dude. They're going to stop newspapers from reporting shit. I'm telling you, like, motherfuckers is gonna have parades in the street, and they're not gonna like it, dude. It's gonna be crazy. And then what's wild to me is that this is how it's gotten so crazy, is that for years he's hated people criticizing the president and criticizing him, right? But the thing is, late night TV's been making fun of the president for fucking 50 years, since Johnny Carson was on the air. I mean, yeah, that's just part of it. That's part of the deal. They make fun of the president.
And it's literally like American tradition. It's literally like American tradition. Other place, like the rest of the world, doesn't do the late night shit. That's ours. That's something we do.
Right. Up until recently, when I was growing up, no matter who was the president, nobody fucking liked him. Nobody I knew liked him, whether a Republican or Democrat. Once they got elected, nobody liked him. You know what I mean?
That's pretty much how it always is.
Right. But now it's like the fucking cult of personality. Like, I'm telling you, dude, they get really mad when I say this, dude. But I'm like, if I kid, but I don't think I'm kidding, that if Trump seen your wife at a rally and said, hey, you want to come back to the hotel room, you let her go with him.
Who, me?
No, I'm saying these Trump voters, these Trump fucking
yeah.
supporters, they would
They-
let
they-
their wife go along with them. Go ahead,
yeah,
honey.
they-
Tell me how it is when you get back.
They definitely cuck their wives. Yeah, for sure. They probably want
yeah.
to sit there and watch. They, Mr. President, can I see?
Can I come
see?
along? I promise I won't make noise.
Yeah, I won't touch. I just want to.
I'll cry silently in the corner.
Yeah, I can almost imagine it'll be just like South Park, man. The new episode of South Park is fire. It's fucking fire.
I'm telling you, and that's the thing is that I feel like nothing's off limits as long as you can make the joke actually funny. And that's what's good about South Park is that they're not Democrats or Republicans; they're libertarians. So
yeah. If anything, they lean right because they're libertarian. But it's about they kind of took long enough with Trump. They kind of took their time with it. But now that it's here, it's worth it.
But seriously, I hope they do something that threatens to tank the fucking Paramount deal, bro.
Oh, me too.
Because the thing is, Paramount makes so much money off of South Park, especially since they moved them off of Comedy Central, and it's like it's on a pay channel now.
Yeah, well, they stopped running episodes after Charlie Kirk's death, and they just ran their first one since. So they probably had to go through and change a lot of shit, because it was probably not going to fly as was. You know what I'm saying?
Shit. Did you know that part of the deal with CBS after they paid a settlement, they're gonna have to have compliance officers in the newsroom? Federal compliance officers. That's wild,
compliance
dude.
officers.
That's
you got to read their
Korea
fucking
stuff, dude.
the government
That's
narrative
Chinese.
and shit.
That's Chinese CCP, North Korean state TV stuff right there, man.
Like when JD Vance telling people to like snitch on their neighbors if they're talking bad about Charlie Kirk. That's literally what the Nazis did. That's what Goebbels did. He got neighbors snitching on neighbors,
man.
Yeah,
Chinese,
dude.
They're like snitch on your mom, your dad, your uncles, your teacher.
Yeah, dude. It's the thought police, man. It's the beginning of the thought police in America. They always said it about the left, you know what's funny? I've always said with the right, it's always been projection. So they want to do it, so they say the left does it. They want to kill lefties.
That's what I'm saying.
So they say the left wants to kill them.
Right. They say, oh, the left are Nazis, but they do Nazi shit, man. It's like,
yeah. They literally do Nazi shit.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, they would have stormed the fucking DNC if Kamala Harris did the fucking thing that fucking President Elon did.
So yeah,
if she did a fucking Heil Hitler, bro, they would have fucking stormed the DNC, bro.
Yeah, don't remind me. My brother went to work for Elon Musk after the Heil Hitler. Like the Heil Hitler was like a thing that happened, and my brother still said yes. So yeah, don't remind me.
It's like the thing is, it's like all those comedians that went to the fucking Riyadh Comedy Festival, bro. Like I lost a lot of respect for Bill Burr, dog. I lost a lot of respect for that motherfucker, dude.
Oh, see, I don't know about that. Like he's probably the only comedian. Well, him and Josh Johnson are the only comedians I really watch anymore.
Well, no, I thought Bill Burr was a cool dude and shit like that, because not because he's a lefty or whatever, but because he's got some pretty head screwed on stuff. But then this fool, if the money's good enough, he'll just overlook the fact that they're enforcing a genocide in Yemen. Just we're gonna overlook that. Just take the money, take the fucking blood money, dude. And what's crazy to me is one person that I think turned it down. I know it's sure as hell he didn't go, and he's been clowning everybody that's going. Is Stavros Halakos?
See, that's I haven't looked at Yemen in a while.
Halakis or whatever. I can't remember.
See, I've been so wrapped up in other shit, I haven't looked at Yemen. So the genocide's still going on in Yemen?
Oh yeah, they're enforcing that fucking. They're doing the what do they call it, sanctions and stuff. Like they're doing a blockade. Basically, they're stopping food and goods and shit like that from getting in the country, dude.
Because they were helping Gaza.
No, Saudi Arabia has been doing this forever. I don't know why.
Yes. So it's. See, I thought it had stopped. But I just got.
I thought they just wanted their land. I thought they just wanted their land.
No, like it was a famine I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago.
It's been going on for a
So
long
if-
time.
If it's still going on, yeah, man, the death that was going on 6-7 years ago, I can only imagine if it's still going on from then. Like that country's fucking decimated, man. There's probably nobody left. That's insanity.
It's fucking bad, dude, and it's crazy, dude. But you know what? Take the fucking money if it's good enough, right? They just take the money and shut the fuck up, dude. And a comedian made a good joke, right? It's gonna be hard for all those Jews that gotta do a fucking pro Israel fucking tweet on the 7th on the 7th of October.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to do it from fucking
gotta be
Riyadh,
tough.
and it's gonna be like from Riyadh, fucking in remembrance of what happened to Israel on October the 7th. No, it's gonna be hilarious, dude.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Sentiment has definitely changed.
What's crazy to me is that the thing that pisses off a lot of Jewish people, and I didn't even think about it, was the fact that in their eyes, you know, they're supposed to be doing all this stuff for you know, to further the Israeli people, and then the Israeli government is basically rubbing shoulders with people that are actively participating in anti-Semitism. You know, other countries that have anti-Semitic policies and shit like that, they're rubbing elbows with them, and they're supposed to be, you know, furthering the success of the Israeli people. You know.
Yeah,
it's like,
you know, I know, like, so the Zionist population have their issues within Israel. You know, like they definitely see Palestinians as less than human, but like I've never tried to you know, I can't, it's hard for me to step into their shoes. I've never been to that part of the world. I don't know the dynamics of the situation that they lived. Both sides have lived under war, so I understand all of that. But I also know that the Israeli people really dislike the Netanyahu government, and basically
the Likud government.
Yeah, like basically he's holding on to power despite their wishes, and I don't think most people in America know that, right? Like they don't get told that part.
The thing is, you know why the Palestinian war is not going to end right now?
Because as soon as it ends, he probably loses power.
No, as soon as it ends, he goes to fucking prison, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
because as soon as he loses power,
he spent this time while he's been doing this war. He's also been passing laws and getting people taken out of office that were that were successfully leading prosecutions against him.
Yeah, it's the whole reason he's pretty much waged.
He's one of the most
war
corrupt
the way he
fucking
has.
politicians in the history of the West.
It's despicable. You know, I wish that the Israeli people would have, you know, because they're traditionally a white right-wing government, you know, but I wish they just had an honest government that represented their people well, because, you know, these actions only stoke anti-Semitism. It doesn't help like defeat it at all.
Because there was
it gives the Nazis and the fascists, you know, just kind of excuse to justify their hatred.
There was a piece in the Israeli Times where they're talking about why is nobody talking about the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu funded Hamas for a number of years, for many years, gave them millions of dollars every year, and funded them. And we paid for October 7th. We just paid for it in installments.
Yeah, I mean, because he definitely preferred Hamas over the Palestinian Authority, I think they were called, the government of the Palestinians before Hamas
because
came.
he couldn't make them an enemy.
Yeah,
that's a fucked up part.
If you, and it's the thing that like people in power understand. If you're at war, then it kind of buckles your people down underneath your authority. So it's why, like, when they said like Trump was a war of peace, it's like, dude, the first thing he's going to try to do is start some kind of war because it solidifies his power.
Dude, if it really pops off against Venezuela, I think that's gonna be the turning point. Because once bodies start coming home in caskets, they're gonna start thinking different.
Well, yeah, but I don't even think we're gonna go to war, like real war with Venezuela. I think he's hell bent on real war with like Afghanistan again for some reason. And then it like possibly because I really think like he wants Greenland. So if Greenland doesn't like cave to whatever he's demanding behind the scenes, I could totally see him going to war there.
But if he does, he's going to
Peter Thiel wants Greenland.
He's going to trigger Article 5, and we're going to have to go to war with our own NATO.
Yeah, they want Greenland for their like businessman utopia. What they call it, like what Praxis or some shit like that.
Gee, they need more fallout shelters. New Zealand isn't good enough.
No, there's actually like solid reporting on it. I think it's Robert
have
Thiel.
you seen these fallout shelters they're building in New Zealand?
I can't remember the dude's exact name.
Have you seen these things they're building in New Zealand?
No.
They're buying up houses, right? And then they're because you have to like they have strict permitting and stuff like that, right? What they'll do is they'll get a permit to build a garage, and they'll build a garage, right? But then they'll build into the hill a fucking fallout house, basically, like a fallout shelter house, with self-contained bathrooms and everything, plumbing, all that stuff, air filtration, everything, dude. Like everything you would need if basically you had to bug out because the world ended. It's got generators, hidden generator room, all that stuff, and they're buying them up and making them all over the place in New Zealand right now. And
yeah, well, they've been doing that here in the States
with it.
forever. Yeah, they've been doing that here in the States forever. Like all the billionaires have like underground fucking doomsday bunkers and shit that are like decked out like 10 of our houses under a fucking mountain somewhere. Just like these, like we're all gonna be like dying of radiation poisoning, and they're gonna be like 300 fucking feet under the earth, like chilling in a spa, drinking champagne, laughing at all the fucking ghouls up there dying horribly. It's these fucking assholes, man.
Have you seen any missile silo tube?
Oh
yeah, there's a whole little cottage industry of people that market to sell fucking converted missile silos.
For what? For like bunkers?
Bunker shelters, bug out shelters, shit, dude.
Shit.
They're like, this used to be a Minuteman fucking facility. It's 262 feet underground, reinforced. It's got a 28-ton door on the top. All this other stuff, man. And it's like, except for the fact that they always show a picture from the outside. And I'm like, this is a geoguesser's dream right here. You guys are fucking idiots, dude. I wouldn't buy something for
That's what I'm saying, dude.
tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. And then somebody else, like basically you advertise this shit on the internet. I'm like, dude, these people are crazy, dude.
See, these wealth hoarders are just like they're monstrosities that has to be stricken from society. Like seriously, they literally hoard all the wealth. People struggle, and they're behind all the like propaganda that leads people to hate each other, tears families apart, right? And then ultimately, if it leads, it just all goes to shit, and just people start popping off with their hydrogen bombs. Then they literally have the wealth to escape the brunt of it, if possible, right? Like I don't know, you're probably never going to be able to come topside again, but at least you might be able to live out the rest of your life in comfort. I don't know, but it's just like despicable. Like they literally care nothing but for themselves.
I don't think it's going to be a big bang that humanity, the majority of humanity, if he does go out. I think it's going to be a sad fizzle, bro.
Well, I don't know. Like if you know anything about like nuclear protocol, so in the worst case scenario, like back during like Cold War days when World War III was something that was like a legit possibility, and it never stopped being one. We just allowed them to make us think that it did. Like within that scenario, the president literally has 6 minutes to make a decision. So if one nuclear weapon is fired, right, the president has 6 minutes to make the decision to end the world, basically.
No,
Because
no, because
what
the thing is,
that's
though,
what it is.
no,
That's
but
what
the
it is,
stand,
though, because the scenario
landscape on nuclear
is
weapons has changed. The landscape of nuclear weapons has changed over the years. It's gone from nuclear
it
weapons that
hasn't.
were large. Yes, it has. It very much has, because it's gone from a landscape of nuclear weapons that were large area of effect weapons that they used an overwhelming number of them because they didn't have tight area of probability of impact, right? But now the probability impact is very tight within a couple meters, less than 10 meters. So they can put it on target now, and they have much smaller warheads than they used to use.
No,
And
so
also, they're
the
not.
protocol takes all of that into account. So like I've recently looked at this. So the president has 6 minutes. 6 minutes to decide if this is a one-off attack or if this is going to be an escalation of attacks. So you pretty much have 6 minutes to decide how you're going to respond. Are you going to respond all out, or are you going to respond on an individual basis? Is this an attack that you can take out, say, with satellites from space, with aircraft with aircraft, however you might be able to take it out, air defense systems? But you have 6 minutes to decide what it's going to be. Now, say Russia shoots 500 missiles at the United States. You have 6 minutes to decide.
Well, that's different. But what I'm saying is, it all depends on what actor does it and what they do, right? Because like if North Korea popped off, we wouldn't have to worry too much because they could use their whole arsenal and really can't do shit to us. They can't get Washington D.C. They can barely get the West Coast, and that's if their missiles work. Because the thing is, once you develop the bomb and you actually get it to go off, every step after that gets harder than the step before. That's one of the things that I know. And yes, they've gotten some advancement, and they got a lot of help from the Russians recently, right? But still, they don't have enough material. They don't have enough arsenal to really make it a threat. So that wouldn't be like somebody that we pop off with, right? And then China, they're steady trying to be the hegemony in the world right now. They're trying to take that away from America.
Well,
so they're not going to pop off. That leaves
for
Russia.
Russia. We don't know what every country has. But like we're pretty sure like North Korea has about 100 nuclear warheads that could reach pretty much every part of the United States.
No way, dude. They barely can get to the West Coast.
North Korea? No,
yeah.
that's not what I've heard at all. I've heard all the experts that I've heard on it said they've got about 100 weapons, and if they really wanted to, they could damage us. The problem is, like with 100 weapons, we could probably take most of them out.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're gonna for 100 weapons, you're gonna have to fire 1,000 missiles. You have to fire 1,000 interceptors.
I do think that like our air defense system is top notch. Like we'd have a pretty good success rate.
This Golden Dome thing he's talking about is just physically, it's the physics don't add up, bro.
Well, no, but just like what we have right now, I think would be pretty adequate for most shit.
Well, you got to think though, an average missile, right? The intercontinental ballistic missile has anywhere between 9 to 16 warheads on it, and any number of those might be dummies. There's no way to tell, and then until they release on the final release, you don't have trajectory for all those warheads anyway. But so if they fire, say they fire 12 missiles and each one's got 12 warheads, that's 144 targets you got to hit. And to get each one, you're going to fire more than one missile, at least 2 or 3, if not 4 or 5. So the amount of interceptors that you need just goes through the roof. And the interceptor missiles are very expensive to make because they have to be so fast and so accurate and so lethal. So it just, once you start getting that route, it doesn't add up. And that same physics applies for everybody. So that's, I think, what's really going to stop anybody from making that jump, because especially if they think that if the math equals on the other side to pull the trigger as soon as you see somebody else pull the trigger, nobody's pulling the trigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're pretty close to nuclear war. Did you see that Russia's pretty much trying to say like NATO's declared war, and they sent like
They don't
fighter
want it.
jets. They
don't
sent
want it.
fighter jets to Alaska. They're testing out our defenses.
They don't want it. Even
think
with
they
Trump's
do. I
fucking
think
inept
they want
ass, even with Trump's inept ass, we still have a military that can fight 2 wars on opposite sides of the planet. That's how much material and
I
people we
think you're
have
probably
and
right,
everything.
because I mean I don't think they have the resources to defeat Ukraine, let alone try to start a war
Bro,
with
if
the
they
United
the
States.
thing is, they fuck around and step up to an actual professional army. Not even us. They step up to the fucking Polish. You're getting smashed, bro.
Yeah,
Because
So,
the thing is, a
they
professional
could be
Western
banking
army
that like
is not.
they could be
doing the
banking
dumb
that
shit
like
they're
Trump.
doing.
He could be banking that Trump won't actually back NATO. So if it's Russia against NATO, I think NATO wins, but I think Putin's crazy enough to think that he can win.
Oh, he wouldn't make that jump if he didn't think he can win. But the problem is, there's a secondary problem with that, is that Putin has eliminated anyone that's going to tell him the truth, and he only has people that are going to tell him what he wants to hear. So now he's not making accurate decisions, not based on the world. Now, right now, he has the advantage of Russia's got insanely good social media warfare skills, and they're leaning back on that. But
Yeah, that's pretty much how they survive.
yeah, it doesn't survive. That doesn't work for everything. You know what I mean? It doesn't work for soldiers on the battlefield. You know what I mean? Because especially when the soldiers on the battlefield have the ability to communicate back home, just like your soldiers do. You know what I mean? So when they're like, we're smashing these motherfuckers, then the reports that you got coming out on this fucking internet bogus newspaper that just opened up 2 days ago, that says that their people are getting killed in droves, it doesn't hit home. You know what I mean? But
I think Putin's problem is that his people doesn't love him, right? Like, so.
Oh no, they're ready.
Think whatever you want. Think whatever you want about Stalin, right? The people of Russia loved Stalin, and they still love Stalin to this day, right? They venerate that man to this day. Now we can think of
a lot of
whatever
them
we want.
Fear Stalin, dude.
Well, not like so. When we talk about Stalin's Red Army in World War II, we are talking about the fiercest warriors in that war. These motherfuckers were relentless. The Red Army in World War
what
II.
he did,
and it's because they loved their leader Stalin.
You know what he did with the POWs after the war, right?
Oh yeah, Stalin was a brutal dictator. Don't get me wrong, but the
They
people of
loaded
Russia
him
loved
on
him.
barges and pushed him out into the fucking sea.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, he was a brutal dictator. I'm not a Stalinist by any means, but I'm saying just like we've demonized him here in the West, but in Russia, he's a fucking hero still to this day. And he was back then too. Like they loved him. They didn't fear him. They loved him. Now his people feared him. Yeah, the people around him knew better, but the people of Russia loved him. And they were willing to die for him. And Putin doesn't have that right now.
See,
The
but
people
and
of
that's what I'm
Russia
saying.
fear Putin.
And that's kind of what I'm saying, though, right? So what you're saying, if that's the case, what you're saying is making my point about with Trump, right? Which is that the inner circle does what they do out of fear, because they fear immediate repercussions from what could happen, right? But the masses do what they do out of adoration and love for this
and my
cult
fear,
personality.
My fear with Trump is like, so where does the military stand with that? Does the military love Trump?
And see, this is the weird part.
That's the question.
Up until Trump, we've largely had an apolitical military.
Yeah, and that like all of like the veteran YouTube, they say the same thing. Like they tend to lean right, but they're like like the military is apolitical. We are not right or left, and I'm
Right,
like,
after
is
they
the
got out,
military
they-
still like that though? Are they still like
after
that?
they got out, they leaned right. You know what I mean? But while they're in the military, they didn't voice political opinions. At least that's the way it
Yeah,
used to be.
hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. But are they still like that? I think that's the question. Are they gonna?
My fear
Are they
is that
gonna-
they're not.
Yeah, that's my
Because
that's
they,
my fear
they
too.
just fired. They just fired a I think it was a general. They just fired because he made pro-Palestinian, quote, anti-Israel posts because he was like, "Please stop the genocide in Israel."
So why do they love Stalin? I don't know. I'm not Russian, but they do. I mean, that's the reporting that I've seen. Like if you go inside Russia, people aren't going to talk bad about Stalin. You're going to see Stalin's face everywhere.
but
You're
what's
going to
crazy
see
is there's
statues
a
of
lot
Stalin everywhere.
There's a lot of Russians that lived through the fucking Soviet Union, right? And it's crazy to me because the ones that escaped, right, they would never live under the Soviet Union ever again, right? But a lot of the ones that are there are like
They
ready
miss
to
it.
go back to it.
Yeah, they miss it. Because the Soviet Union wasn't always bad, and again, the West demonized them. So you can't really trust much of what you've heard of the West.
This is what
No.
but this also it's a quote that I heard from somebody that came about the time when when the wall fell, right, and the Soviet Union collapsed, right? They said, what value does freedom have to someone who has no idea what to do with it?
Yeah, and to them, like Russians have been, democracy and freedom was the enemy, to my understanding, to a Russian communist, right, the American proletariat was like the worst of the worst. We were lazy. We weren't even real workers, and we just bowed to our masters, right? Like, like they just had disgust for us. But like conditions in Russia were pretty good at first, and in fact, communism was a leader in industry for a vast majority of their existence in Russia. It's just bad management, and then the kind of getting away from the ideals of communism and more into the ideals of like dictatorship and authoritarianism, which started with Stalin. It really started with Lenin. I mean, if you're going to be honest about it, but it was really Stalin that brought the steel fist down, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was popping a lot of cats, man. He was shooting a lot.
Yeah.
But because what's it called? What was I gonna say? With the Leninism and the Trotskyism, because it was like Lenin, then Trotsky, then Stalin, right? And
Yeah, I believe so.
You know that political saying, American exceptionalism, right?
So the Trotsky wasn't.
Well, that
wasn't
you know that
Trotsky
saying-
supposed to replace Lenin, but it like Stalin made his power move. I can't remember. It's been a while since
he
I looked
started
at the
to, and
history.
then Stalin pushed him out the way.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. Yeah.
But that political saying in American exceptionalism, right?
Yeah.
That actually is a slam from Lenin, or from Stalin, sorry, where he was like American exceptionalism because Americans swear because that is his thing that he got going in the Soviet Union. Americans think that they're more exceptional than anybody else on the planet, right? Well, then
and at that point
Republican
in time,
was
it
like,
was
we
kind
can
of a
turn that
delusion.
into a right. Then Republicans like, we can turn that into a slogan, and I'm like, it's just funny to me that all their most best winning moves come from the people that they say are fucking evil.
Yeah, and it is kind of true about America that we've always considered ourselves the best in everything, even when we clearly weren't. And it continues to today. Like we still think we're the best in everything, even though we clearly aren't. It's this fake notion of American exceptionalism that Americans seem to have about themselves. Like we're something special, and what makes us special, we are special. But what makes us special is our diversity, and the Trumps of the world are trying to take that away. The Stephen Millers really hate diversity.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is that if we get rid of our diversity, we screwed because the big push and the big explosion in American exceptionalism, if you want to call it that, was when we started bringing in a lot of immigrants from all around the world, right? And
yeah, and it's what makes us unique. Most other countries don't. They're not the We're called the melting pot for a reason because we're the only country in the world that's done what we've done. We're a country of immigrants, right? Every other country has its lineage, and yeah, they're having their their immigration problems as well now. But like their immigration problems shouldn't be our immigration problems because we shouldn't have immigration problems. Yeah, you don't want to let in violent immigrants. Yeah, but like we are immigration. That's what America is. You know. But I mean, I get the whole point of like, you know, my family's also been here since what I think like early 1900s. I think it could have possibly been 1890s when we came over here from like Ireland, but you know, we've been here a while, but still like we came here from somewhere else. You know,
see,
like we weren't
one
always
side of my
here.
family, like one side of my family is only like 3 generations old, right? The other side of my family goes back to the American Revolution.
Yeah, see, now of course, you know, my Cherokee blood on my mom's side goes way back, way back. You know,
well, of
before
course,
Americans,
First Nations people.
Yeah, before Americans, but yeah, like most of my like European blood, I think is probably like because there was like a big immigration boom in early 1900s. So I think both sides of the family, the European blood is probably early 1900s. Can't say I went all the way back to like the colonial times. I don't, maybe, but I don't think so. Like my family tree, definitely on like the fat, and I think it's your dad's side that's like the prominent one or whatever. That definitely is like 1900s.
Oh, see, on my dad's side, they goes way way back, way back German ancestry. But and then like my mom's side, that's daughters of the American Revolution right there.
Well, our ancestry goes way back in like Ireland. It's Ireland and Scottish Highlands both is where my family came from.
But see, like on my mom's side, that's what's weird is on my dad's side, one side, you know, one part came from Ireland recently, and then on my mom's side, her father, his whole lineage came from Sicily in the early 1900s.
See, I always wanted to be Italian. I always wish that.
Oh, don't ever! My grandpa would roll over in his grave if he heard what you just said.
Yeah, I don't know why.
How many times I don't know how many times I got reprimanded for that as a kid when I was like, "Oh, we're Italian." He's like, "No, we're Sicilian." I'm like, okay.
Well, that's another thing I've learned recently is like researching Mussolini and really trying to look into like the origins of fascism because there, you know, I've discovered like when you try to talk fascism with Republicans, they never want to talk Hitler, but they're more than willing to talk Mussolini. So I figure like his time.
Yeah, because they don't realize
more about Mussolini.
They don't realize where their man gets his playbook from.
Yeah.
Because Mussolini didn't invent it. He had a like a scholar buddy that invented it for him, but he took that shit and ran with it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, what people don't realize is fascism isn't just a political ideology; it's a business model.
Yeah, that's why you see like the billionaires in fascist countries are always the first to go fascist.
Capitalism,
but like
capitalism
the
and
richest
fascism
people
go
in the
hand
country.
in hand. Capitalism and
billionaires
fascism
are rather
go hand in
new
hand.
thing.
Because look at this. Like, think about it like this, right? What companies survived in Italy and Germany? The companies that signed on and went with the fascists. You know, Ferrari, BMW, Porsche, Volkswagen, Audi. These companies that signed up and went along with them. Alfa Romeo. I think that's French.
Yeah,
but
it seems like the more we've
Giulietta.
allowed their wealth to grow, we've allowed their egos and narcissism to grow as well. Because now it's like all the billionaires want to rule us now, right? Like it's not good enough that they're like the wealthiest among us, but like the Peter Thiels of the world and like all these people that are surrounding Trump, but it's not just the people surrounding Trump. It's like, it's pretty much all of them. They feel like they're better than us and they want to rule us. And if they can't rule us, then they don't mind just getting rid of us. And I think that I think that most people understand that, even if they don't say it or think it, they feel it. And I think that that's how we come together as a nation, as we realize who our true enemy is. It's just they're so brainwashed with who they've been told to hate that they can't get past it.
Well, what kills
That's what
me
I
is
think.
that these quote unquote free speech absolutists, right, aren't free speech absolutists. What they want is
No.
they want unfettered right to say whatever they want with no pushback. But the problem that they have is that if everybody has the same freedom of speech they do, then they can't escape the pushback, because people are gonna
Yeah.
say that they don't like what they heard if they don't like what they heard. And they hate that part of it. So what they want is they want Trump to start clamping down on that. But what's going to happen is they're going to find out real quick, if he successfully clamps down on the stuff they want him to clamp down on, then he's going to turn around and clamp down on the stuff they don't want. He doesn't want them to say right behind that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's funny to me, is that they talk about, oh, they're going to take our rights away. They're going to take our rights away. Then they get power and they're like, take their rights away. I'm like,
It
what the
doesn't make any
fuck?
sense. Yeah, no, it's like they don't even try to hide it anymore. Like they used to at least try to hide it, and now there's like they hate us so much now.
Remind me of what time Biden sued a publication for releasing some quote unquote damaging information about him.
Yeah, like he let his own son be investigated. Like Trump would never let his sons be investigated by his DOJ.
Nah, dude. You know what he would be doing? Everybody on that investigation committee would be getting fucking federal cases opened on them. He'd have Pam Bondi fucking digging up every piece of dirt she could find. Like, oh, we caught him littering in a park. You know what I mean? Like that kind of petty bullshit, dude. Like they would go all out, bro. But
I mean,
and that's what's crazy to me.
At this point, can we even knock Joe Biden for giving the blanket pardons to his family? Like, I don't think we can. I mean, like,
no, that fool was
Joe
smart.
Biden.
That fool was smart.
He would have been the first one to go.
Well, what I'm saying is where he was smart. One of the people, because like where he gave Fauci that future acting pardon. Sorry, that future acting pardon, where basically he's blanket covered in the future. You know what I mean? He was smart about that, because what they want to do as soon as Trump got in office, go after Fauci. So,
yeah, go after Fauci, go after Biden, go after Hunter, go after his wife. And again,
now,
if they covered up the Epstein files, we need to go after them.
Like, I have serious questions about why are we doing gain of function research in China and shit like that, when we know that that's one of our military enemies. You know what I mean? That's not the type of shit we should be doing. You know what I mean? But then again, under the Trump administration, what Trump did recently was for a 25% cut of NVIDIA, he let them start selling AI chips to China, the same ones that Biden banned them from selling. So basically, national security can be bypassed for a mere 25% cut in your company.
Yeah, he's just
fuck national security.
Country.
It's like, fuck national security. I'm gonna get some money. And then like they're talking about, that Qatari jet that was given to him, right? When he gets out of office, he gets to take that with him, right?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And they're gonna pay hundreds of millions of dollars to convert that bitch. I bet money he doesn't get anything unconverted in that motherfucker. He doesn't even take out the fucking anti-aircraft measures. That motherfucker's gonna keep all that shit in there. He's gonna be flying. You can be like, I still fly Air Force One, when he knows for a motherfucking fact that as soon as the next president takes office, once you land on that last flight when you're going home, you are no longer Air Force One. It lands as a regular plane.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
But fuck ceremony and fuck the way that everything's been done for 150 years.
So, if he dies, does the sons keep it?
Probably. They're gonna fucking fight over that bitch and then sell it at fucking what's that auction house in fucking New York, Lloyd's of London.
We should demand that the government keeps the plane. Like,
Yeah,
so
we
I mean,
should, but
this dude had
that's
been.
gonna
This
fall
dude
on
should be
deaf ears,
impeached.
bro.
He should be impeached for pretty much everything he's ever done every single day since he took office. Like, he has
Like, I think
violated
he broke
his.
the emoluments clause 254 times in his first presidency, and he's nonstop broke it since he got into office. This
Yeah,
time.
like, and this time he gives absolutely no fucks about it. It's
Like-
absolutely crazy.
Like the one thing that everybody just seemed to like just ignore is the fact that right before he went into office, meme stocks were illegal. Meme coins were illegal, bro. It was considered a fucking pump and dump scheme. You know what I mean? A pyramid scheme. When he takes office and suddenly they're legal, crime is legal.
Mhm. Yeah, this. Yeah, I think without a doubt, it's the most corrupt government ever.
Because one person that's been really accurately critical of him is CoffeeZilla,
Yeah, I like CoffeeZilla. He does good work.
and he's been really critical of him on the Epstein thing. He's like, this shit doesn't make sense. He's been critical.
He's
of
exposed
him
a lot of people. He exposed like Logan Paul's Bitcoin scam, the Hawk Tua girls Bitcoin scam. Like, he's been all over the shit. Like, he's been exposing like YouTube fraudsters forever.
All I'm
I
saying
dig
is,
that
if
dude.
CoffeeZilla ever calls you, it better be. You better hope it's because he wants some help on a video.
Yeah, and if CoffeeZilla ever calls me, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I must have fucked up somewhere and I just don't know. And so somewhere I got a lot of money and I just don't know.
Yeah, I screwed somebody over to the tune of millions of dollars. Like, that's what's crazy, dude. But
And I've been living
yeah,
like the poorest motherfucker ever.
like, and then you heard about that the Israeli head of security, right?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Oh, the guy that got caught in the fucking pedophile bust,
Oh, yeah,
pedophile sting ring in fucking Vegas, and
Yeah, he got-
in
he
the
got to go
interview,
back to
you know
Israel.
what he told him in the interview while they were interrogating him?
What?
Yo, my plane leaves like Wednesday morning. I'm getting on that motherfucker.
Oh,
And they let him
I
out.
hadn't heard that.
They let him
Yeah, I knew
out.
they let
I'm
him
like,
go back.
what is that, dude?
That's what
And
I'm
it,
saying. Like, this,
Then his lawyer was like,
Anybody
"Oh, I told
that-
him he doesn't have to be at the hearing." And the judge was like, "No, sir. Anytime somebody gets bailed out from my court, they have to come to every hearing." And the dude was like, "Well,
Yeah,
I'm
and-
sorry. He's in Israel now. Can't get him back."
I want to say, like, at this point, everybody that supports Donald Trump just blatantly like covers up for pedophiles. But fucking, I don't even know if that's true, because like I know like Fox News will talk about like the Epstein files and shit, or in every once in a while, you know, it's rare, but every once in a while. But like, you know, like true MAGA don't even really watch Fox News anymore. It's like Newsmax, you know, it's Fox News is too soft for most MAGAs nowadays. You know, my dad watches Newsmax. So it's like, I don't know how much information they get on Newsmax. So they might not actually know that, you know, Donald Trump is a PDF file or whatever. But, you know, like at this point, it's got to be obvious to them all. So it's like, I want to be like, yeah, you're all a bunch of fucking complicit PDF files. You know, it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they yeah, it's funny because like in the interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, she's like, you know, certain people, you know, this person, that person, or, you know, these people, these other kind of people, a high-ranking, a high-level member of the Trump cabinet, and they're like, and the guy's like, okay, so moving on. I'm like, wow, dude. If it ain't obvious now, like the fix is in,
Well,
dude.
Well, I mean, the FBI won't even talk to the Epstein victims.
Oh no, because you
talk to him at all.
can't. Because they'll be like, they're gonna finger him, dude. They're gonna be like, yeah, that dude right there is a fucking, he's a chomo, man.
So, I mean, it's just disgusting, and it's I just, again, and I don't see how does any Christian that supports this call themselves a Christian. You know, like it gives lie to not only their politics, their political philosophy, because they were all supposed to be conservatives that cared about like, fiscal responsibility and, I don't know, maybe a little bit of lower taxes, but like for the middle class, right? Not for.
They're like now they're like they just campaign on you know what we should give billionaires tax cuts, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, what are you fucking doing?
And they're
What are you
willing to
doing?
like
You're
not
never
even
gonna
really
be a
care
billionaire.
if they get one. Yeah,
No,
it's like
because they keep the dream alive that they're going to become billionaires themselves. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. No billionaire became a billionaire by working hard.
Nah, unless you're like an athlete,
No,
know,
but they
like-
didn't become a billionaire from working hard. They became a billionaire from sponsor deals and shit like that.
Well, I don't know. I would argue, like, people think what they think about LeBron James. One thing, he's probably on steroids, but that dude be fucking just
He plays his
in the
ass
gym,
off. But
in the gym like 12 hours a day. But not only that, like, he's pretty for a dude out the ghetto, pretty savvy, business savvy. So I mean, I think he probably worked pretty hard for it, but it's just because he had that original platform of being the greatest basketball player on the planet.
But what I'm saying is he's not packing. You know what I mean? He's not putting in physical labor. Is what I'm saying. He's not.
Well,
he's not. No amount of
NBA
physical labor is going to get. No matter. No. But that's what I'm saying though is he gets.
NBA is like
deal,
the most physical labor there is. One of the most physical labors
for a few hours a day.
Well, no, so maybe for
like
Zion
I know you got to do
Williams,
you got to do all like kind of workout and stuff like that. That's all the backup of doing that job, but it's not like, you know what I mean. He's not every single day doing 12 hours a day of where he's got to crank out widgets and shit like that. You know what I mean? There's no amount of going from an average
like
Joe.
The epitome.
And he had to win the lottery. He had to win the lottery just to get in that position.
The basketball and football is like the epitome of physical labor, though.
Right, but the thing is, right? How many equally talented, probably people didn't even get picked up from college? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying is that he had to win the lottery several times.
Not many.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't. There's
a few that like kind of skirt. They don't get picked up because life happens, shit happens. They usually pick up crimes, and it's usually like a drug crime or oftentimes it's like a statutory rape crime because teenagers date teenagers, and it's in a lot of states you got to really be aware of your ages. Or you're gonna get caught the fuck up, and that happens quite a bit. But usually, like, talent rises to the top. So, like, when I play ball, I was the best from the moment I started playing ball, right? And I only got better and better and better the more and more I played ball. And talent is usually easily recognized and early recognized. The only reason my talent didn't go anywhere in basketball is because I fucked up my ankle, and as soon as I did, my life changed forever. But like, if you can keep yourself healthy, like, people can see the talent when it comes to sports at a very young age. And usually those people are going to make it as long as they stay healthy. And it pretty much doesn't matter where you come from, because as long as you're playing school ball somewhere, somebody's going to see your talent if you got it. So that's just kind of difference. That's just my perspective. Like, ball is,
I don't know, because there's thousands of players.
Anybody can play basketball, but then there's people that have talent at basketball, and then you can learn talent, but it's never going to be the same as raw talent. So like a person like Michael Jordan, he's just got that raw talent, and it's kind of what makes him the best. But there's a lot of work behind that, right? Like, there's a lot of work behind that talent. So, but the talent is seen really, really early. And like with Michael, it was in baseball, but it doesn't matter. Like, people that are good at detecting talent in sports will pick you up, and they'll get. Now, some do escape detection, but it's usually for a reason, and oftentimes it happens more than in basketball than football, because in basketball there's a lot of like street court leagues and shit that people get caught up in, and you can find some street court ballers that might be as good as any NBA player, but that they play with a different set of rules. So like they wouldn't make it in the NBA because their play style wouldn't make it. No, basketball is very nuanced. For a dumb sport, there's a lot of nuance to it. I don't even watch it anymore because it's boring.
Well, and what I'm saying is there's, I mean, for any number of reasons, but there's like a lot of players, and not every, a lot of them aren't getting picked up. And to play college football, you got to be pretty damn good. You know what I mean? You got to be pretty high level. Anybody that's able to do that,
Oh yeah. You've got to be good, and you got to be able to take care of your body.
Right, but out of those people, there's a lot of people that don't get picked up and don't go to the league, and they end up going off to do whatever their degree is.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Most college players are never going to make it to the pros ever.
And that's what I'm saying. That's
anything.
a lottery of sorts. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why like in the NFL it's such a different pace. So like a quarterback in college might look really, really great to you, like, oh, this dude is going to be something, but the NFL is just a different level. Like college is still like amateur ball. Yeah, I don't know. I got to stop talking sports. I am going to be ending it here in just a few minutes, Puff. I got to go to bed, but
well, I'm about to get off myself. I got to eat dinner and stuff, so might as well go ahead and end it because I got to eat dinner. I'm starting to get not feeling great.
It's always been always a great conversation with you, man. I'm going to think about your perspective on the shooting. So you made a lot of good points. I don't believe this FBI.
I don't believe them, but I don't believe. It's like, I don't think it's like this fucking 82D chess move thing. I think it's just there's a lot of ineptitude at play and everything like that. And I think that we don't have the best of the best in play right now. And I think that we're seeing a lot of mistakes make it through, dude. There's a lot of.
Let's end on this scenario, right? So we knew going into the campaign, like there was even in the first term, kind of rumblings of like possible martial law, right? And how would you really install martial law? Like, could what we be seeing and experiencing, this madness since the campaign, be a series of black flag psyops with the intended goal of martial law? See, like you have to have civil disorder in order to instill martial law.
I don't know about that, but I know that
that's a wild conspiracy theory.
Well, I know that they're
I don't think
following
anybody's
the
going there
capitalist playbook right now, which is never let a tragedy go to waste.
Yeah, and that would be a wild conspiracy theory, But that was my initial thought, like with the Charlie Kirk shooting. Like my initial thought was, fuck, dude, this is like black ops. Like Trump wants martial law. That's what I first thought for like the first.
Oh, I thought they martyred him when I first saw it. I thought they had martyred him.
Yeah,
straight up.
That's what I thought. I thought, all right, Trump killed this motherfucker for a reason.
Yeah, he was like,
that was
okay,
my
I'm
first
willing to sacrifice
2 days.
At first I thought it was I thought, man, if Israel was involved, they made Trump a deal. They were like, all right, you got to sacrifice one of your guys, and we want what we want, but we can guarantee you that you're going to hold on to power. You know what I mean? But you got to sacrifice one of your own. You know what I mean? And he was like, all right.
As much as I hate Trump, I'm with you. I don't think that that's it. But I'll tell you this, man. If we keep getting these stupid ass shootings with these stupid ass writings on these stupid ass bullets, I'm gonna have to start calling psyops, dude, and just like really bad psyops. I'm gonna have to if it keeps happening.
Bro, it's like they put into chat GPT. How do I construct a fake shoot? How do I construct a fake story around a shooter? Like,
I don't mean to laugh
so
at
bad,
it,
dude.
But at this point, it's like it's getting kind of ridiculous, So as long as this last one was like the last one for a while, like let's not have any more of these, because the more and more like stupid shootings we have, to where like it just doesn't quite add up, and it doesn't seem like the FBI is telling us everything. Then it's just going to be like, yeah, like this dude is just trying to get martial law. You know, and
Well-
when is somebody gonna like get rid of the dude that the president that's assassinating his own people? You know, like
Well, on that note, I'll leave you this one. Look up Sammy Obeid or Sammy Obeid, however you want to say it. He's
Sammy
a comedian,
Obai.
dude.
Let me
Yeah,
put it in so I don't forget.
it's Obeid.
Obeid. All right. Oh yeah, American writer. Oh yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a piece where he did a whole thing on the thing, and he breaks it down. He's like, this shit is just so ridiculous, dude. And like it's fucking hilarious, bro. He goes through the whole script and everything. And like I said, he drops it into Chat GPT, and it's like, I didn't make this shit, but it's definitely fake. And you know, and so
Shit.
it's like,
yeah, no, I have to check that out. Yeah, for sure. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on his channel and shit, dude. He's got it's like recent,
right.
pretty recent. So, but
All right,
yeah,
I'll
check
go
that
find
out.
that shit.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go, brother.
All right, yep, yeah. All right, you have a great one. Thanks for the talk, man.
You too, man. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, yeah, that was an interesting conversation. He made some good points. I don't know. I think I'm still on like Charlie Kirk was shot in the back of the fucking head, but like again, as I've said all night, I'm not even leaning into any of these conspiracies anymore. Like the Israel thing, as soon as Candace Owens started talking Israel, I'm like, all right, I think I have to be out just because like she adds the whole anti-Semitic element to it. And I was definitely like, I don't trust Israel, but you know, Jewish people are fine. I don't have no hate to them. I just don't trust Israel. But I don't know. Like I said, like I just told him, if this keeps shit, if the stupid shit keeps happening, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, it's got to be Trump, and he's just demented, and somebody needs to get the Mad King off the throne. You know, even if it means fucking JD eyeliner Vance, which, you know, nothing wrong with putting some eyeliner on. Just run with it, dog. Don't hate on what you are. So yeah, nice talk. You know, surprise, nobody came in to fight me. Wanted to fight somebody. And I mean metaphorically. You know, I was hoping like that Lupin dude would have came up in here because he'd been running his fucking mouth, but of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. But I don't know. We'll get this thing. We'll get this thing like rolling again. I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out to Matt Powell, see if he wants to catch up. We'll do something like that. Reach out to a couple Christians. It'd be nice to have some religious talks again. You know, it's been all politics. Everything's all politics nowadays. And one of the core fundamental things about these politics these days is Christian nationalism is at its core. So we should try to get back to some of that fucking fight. And I'm going to, I promise. But I'm going to go and probably go to bed in about a half an hour. So go see what my daughter's doing. Make her take a shot. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching. See you soon.